Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, not in Washington, D.C., but appreciative of the cleanup efforts. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is Monday, August 18th, 2025, and this right here is the TNAM Daily Show here on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. On today's show, we're going to ask if you agree or disagree that it is time to end mail-in ballots. Time to end mail-in ballots. Type it in the comments. Question of the day, do you agree or disagree? Also, is peace coming to Ukraine? Peace is on the way. Maybe, maybe not. I have a million stories to share with you. So we're going to jump right into today's program, the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show. That's the podcast you find on Spotify and Apple. Subscribe to the Agree to Disagree Show. Covers the TNAM Daily Show. So let's get it kicked off right now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
As you saw in that intro, the New American Media has been covering stories that matter and talking to people who make the news since 2011. Thank you all for joining us. All right. Hello in chat. Thank you, everybody who is trying to toss pennies in the wishing well. Pennies are 1 extra hour of YouTube content viewed. Let me see where we're at. Let me go ahead and click onto this. We have 2469. We need 3,000. So we need an extra 531. 531. We need 531 hours watched, but that should be pretty easy. If a couple people do 5 or 10 hours here and there, we should have it in no time. Trying to get our monetization put back up on YouTube. It's been a hostile environment, a hostile workplace, a hostile industry. Yeah, there's like 50 or 100 people that are out there doing it and crushing it, and you know those names. And then you have all the lying legacy media. If you're still watching that, more power to you. There's a couple of good shows and a whole bunch of trash with a ton of funding. But yeah, if you haven't been on that inner circle, it's been kind of tough to crack the code of the algorithm. So thank you to everyone who is supporting the New American Media in our efforts to kind of get things back on track. Thank you so much. All right. I want to jump into the news because there's so much to talk about. Let me put comments up on the screen. Hello, Marion. Hello, Lake Leon. Thank you very much. Everybody else, however you're watching, hit like, hit subscribe. Let me drop a comment. I'll say howdy. I'll say, hey, yeah. There we go. All right. Let's get into the news. So much happening. Do you see Gavin Newsom up on here? Look at this graphic. It's all pictures of Gavin going, James Gallagher, CA, says Gavin Newsom and his allies are trying to rig the system, scrapping voter-approved congressional maps mid-decade so Democrat politicians can handpick their own voters. This particularly offensive proposal would lump many rural North state communities in with far-off urban areas near San Francisco, silencing our voice and drowning out our values. Public comment is open now, link in the bio, but could close at any moment. Speak up before it's too late. They've mentioned in California, and here, let me show this, see it completely. There you go. I lived in California for a while, and they had talked about breaking off, I think it was pretty much the area just south of San Francisco to the area just north of Los Angeles, and carving out a middle of the state, maybe give them the coastline, but create the state. I think they were calling it the state of Jefferson. And they wanted to break out of California and say, we don't have anything to do with what these three stupid cities are doing. Sacramento, San Francisco, you could include Oakland in there, Jokeland if you want, or Los Angeles. Although San Diego is a military town, and that is more rational. California's pretty upset about this. Stop politicians from rigging the lines. Public comment is open on new congressional maps. There you go. So this is the big news. Big news. Still one of the greatest Saturday Night Live monologues. I don't even need to play this. You know what I'm talking about. This one right here is Woody Harrelson. Can I play it? I don't know. It won't let me click it. Okay. Well, can't play it anyway. But that was when he took on Big Pharma. That was a nice SNL monologue.
So I came here.
All right, what is this? Based and Bougie. The Based and Bougie account. Let's take a listen to this.
To basically interview opposing sides, and I started off with the left. And what?
Oh, it's got that stupid music in the back. I could get a copyright claim for it. She says people on the left can't even identify what they're protesting. When I ask them why they're here, they're scratching their head, or when they do answer, they say they're here because of racism. And when I tell them what they do is racist and holding the Union Jack and they're holding the English flag, why are you living in a racist country? It makes no sense. It's actually lunatic, she says.
The kind of level of ignorance, it's just, in a way, it's the
very thing they accuse other people of being, which is bigoted. Yeah, and that's another thing. One man said to me, and he had purple hair, he said to me, "You can't call all immigrants rapists." I said, "Yeah, but you can't call all white people racist. Do you understand? I was wanting to defend a child who had been assaulted by a migrant. Racist. It doesn't make sense." And yeah, they accuse people of what they do themselves. Yeah, what do you think should happen? About migrants.
About a couple of weeks ago. And then we saw them actually all being taken in at the dead of night.
What should the hotel do? They just dumped all these illegal aliens into these hotels.
That space in the hotel should go to the veterans.
The veterans. Yeah, Union Jack. This is someone in the UK.
Veterans that actually bled blood for this country are currently sleeping in the streets.
I mean, look, MAGA is not a foreign concept. Take care of your own. Take care of your own community. No, don't allow people to invade your country, invade your city, your streets, your communities, and change the fabric of society just because it's a conquering army. We're gonna put 50 people right here in this little neighborhood. Nope. 500 people. Nope. 5,000 people. Nope. 50,000 people. Nope. 5 million people. We are going to change America from the inside out. We're going to change the UK from the inside out into something unimaginable, something that's completely antithetical to my beliefs. We're just going to allow that to happen. Or not. The MAGA is Make America Great Again, Make Here Great Again. MHGA. Wherever here is, you defend it. You don't let people come in and overthrow your nation. That's exactly what's been happening. And you prioritize your own citizens and your own veterans. That's what you do. You spend your resources wisely helping the destitute, the super sick, the mentally ill, the drug addicted, the veterans. And you don't let them just destroy your city like a college town with no supervision.
An article on GB News that 20 veterans were evicted and they weren't given any support on where to go.
They're going to throw a veteran out and not give him any support.
It should go to them. It makes no, like, put race aside, put religion to the side. In terms of fairness, the people who should receive the best treatment are the ones that actually built this country, contributed to this country, and actually bled blood for this country. Migrants, I'm not saying they're horrible people, but they haven't done that. You have to earn your place. My dad earned his place. My mum earned her place. They haven't. So it makes absolutely no sense that they're doing all of this for people who just arrived here, whilst the people who are natively English, look what they're doing. They're about to kick them out. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And put race to the side. If this was to happen anywhere else, if this was to happen in South Africa, Native America, Palestine, it will be uproar. But for some reason, the English, they're not allowed to have their own traditions. And I think the reason why that is because if you actually look at the British flag, sorry to kind of waffle, it has the most powerful sign in the world, which is the Christian side, the Christian flag. And that's the biggest threat. So I came here to basically...
okay. And what do we say? We said, MAGA is a universal concept. It just means improve our communities and don't let an invading army overthrow the sovereign nations. It's not rocket science. That was well articulated. Cat Williams, he's got thoughts on things.
We used to think our doctor gave a fuck about us.
Hey, do you remember that? How long has it been since you thought your doctor cared about you? How long has it been? Hit like, hit subscribe. Hello, Out of Order. Out of Order, have you watched the show before? Thank you for being here. Hello, Nick. Hello, everybody else. Hit like, hit subscribe, however you are watching. But question of the day, QOTD, when is the last time? How many years has it been since you felt like your doctor gave a shit about you? You know, another question, have you had the same doctor for a lot of years? Or do you just kind of bounce from plan to plan? You know, I have moved across the country, but I have taken different jobs and been self-employed and done my own thing. I've seen a lot of doctors. I don't know that I've really felt like any of them care per se. Do you feel like your vet cares? I don't know.
We used to think our doctor wanted us to get better so we would be better.
So what do you think? Do you think your doctor wanted you to get better so you could be better? Or are they just making bonuses from selling? Well, you know, selling the stuff. Whatever makes them money, gets them the most vacations.
Our doctor don't give a fuck about us. That motherfucker is making money and that is it. He is a drug dealer just like the drug dealers. Ain't no motherfucking difference. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. Because the medicine commercials have really gone over the top. They don't even give a fuck about us as people any motherfucking more. Do you remember when they used to at least have the common decency to whisper the side effect at the end of the... You could barely hear the fucked up shit that could possibly happen to you. They just... Possible side effects are... Now these motherfuckers say the motherfucking side effect so motherfucking loud and proud, you forget what the fuck they were supposed to be curing in the first place.
Yeah. It's almost like the entire point. The entire point is to just tell you about the side effects. It's like, hold on, what were they trying to cure? Because all it's doing is listing every terrible thing you can imagine.
And they just keep going and going. Just possible side effects are loss of the rest of your toes, fucked up ankles.
Fucked up ankles. Well, it's not like you needed all those toes anyway.
Dislocated kneecaps, separation of thigh meat, hip
separation of thigh meat. Oh my goodness.
Dysplasia, any outie belly button, female breasts, if you have two Adam's apples, if your chin falls off, if you go blind or...
Actually, I'm having fun with this because it's relevant, but it's also reminding me that YouTube might strike it for copyright because it's a comedy bit. Welcome to the world. I'm trying to share a few laughs, and I have to think about Big Brother removing our ability to put this show out. We're commenting on the news and all the stuff in the news that you could imagine. All of it. We're trying to comment about all the health issues and put a little perspective on it. But then they might say, oh, you know what? You played too many seconds. You played too many seconds of the comedian. So now we're not going to let the world see your video. The one that you spent all this time compiling the cool video content. So I'm just going to type nicely done. I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead and move on. You want to see the rest of that skit? Minute 34 seconds. Watch it on our Instagram feed. All right. Well, this is happening now. I'm Luke, breaker of narrative. Hey, guess what? There's music. So let's just imagine there's music here. This is your NFL now. And I've known male cheerleaders. I was in a band with a guy that was a male cheerleader, and he was like the strong guy, the hockey player. And he'd hold the lady up by her butt, like you're serving drinks on a tray, or like you're bowling. Sorry, too soon. But I don't know what this is. I don't know why this person is dancing like a female cheerleader instead of, you want to do barrel rolls and then flip and then you catch them on one foot and then you bench press them up and you're showing your strength and your agility. I get that to a certain degree. I don't get this. I don't get why this has been added to football. This has never been a traditional component of cheerleading. I get that there's ballet. I get that there are musicals. I get that dance is a sport. Who wants to see this? I don't understand. Oh, in the NFL, they decided they're going to keep putting divisive slogans in the back of the end zone. Oh, Brian, how can you say it's divisive? They're just saying like end racism. Yeah, the way the NFL's been pushing it with their fake Colin Kaepernick stuff, misconstruing crime statistics and trying to make it seem like all white people are evil. They don't say that. Oh, they definitely imply that. ABC, ESPN, Disney, NFL have been pushing divisive racist rhetoric for years now. And they've tried to tone down some. It takes all of us. What takes all of us? Calling out bad white people takes all of us. Brian, they're not saying that. They're just saying don't be racist. To who? To who? The generation of people that were raised by teachers who said only white people can be racist? Have you gone through a high school or a college course in the last 30 years? Have you heard this lunacy coming out? And a lot of this started with the Colin Kaepernick stuff. He's like, oh, they're not going to give me a big contract because I'm half white. Huh? Yeah. I grew up my afro and everything. Bro, it's football. Put on a helmet. We don't see your hair. Just play the game. Play it well. Yeah, well, I was playing it well and they won't give me a contract. It's racist. No, dude, you lost your job to Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert won your job because you were a 30-year-old aging running quarterback in a pistol offense that the NFL had figured out. Yeah, but I went to a Super Bowl. Right. And you got older, you got slower, you weren't producing on the field, and the NFL defenses figured out how to defend you when they played you. You kind of took people by surprise. You had a nice little run, couldn't cash in enough apparently, and then your failures turn into saying America's racist. You know what? I'm going to take a knee. I'm going to turn the national anthem into something about me, Colin Kaepernick, losing my job to a white man, Blaine Gabbert. Me, a half white man. And I believe I've looked it up. I think Colin Kaepernick is half white and half black. If I'm wrong, forgive me. Please fact check me. I think I've looked it up. I don't have photographic memory on it because I don't give a shit what you look like. I care how you act. If you lose your job to Blaine Gabbert, stand up tall and say, hey, I played in a Super Bowl. Most quarterbacks never even make it to one. I made it to one. I made millions of dollars throughout my career. Don't blame your failures on something systemic and then not being able to even articulate coherent answers when pressed on the questions. I believe you had a radical girlfriend that really drove you through the Obama doctrine to just become as divisive and political as possible, making as many enemies as possible, and taking a moment of togetherness that the anthem is supposed to be and turn it into me, 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 look at me. I declare America to be terrible because I couldn't get the contract I wanted. Therefore, racism. Therefore, I'm growing my hair out. Therefore, power to the people or something. That rubbed so many people the wrong way. I can't even put it into words. And I've covered this topic ad nauseum. It does mostly, I prefer not to talk about this subject anymore. I don't know what other angles I could add. But then again, I have a lot of new viewers that haven't been here on our 14-year journey with the new American media. But the NFL has just been a part of the woke push, the ESPN, ABC, Disney. Everything has to be seen through the lens of racial division. That's the Obama doctrine. And that's what we're emerging from. We're still cleaning up the pieces. That Obama guy might end up being one of the worst things that's ever happened to this country politically. The amount of divisive rhetoric. You can't say that about Obama. You voted for Trump more than once. He's divisive. Why? Because he doesn't want graffiti in the streets, doesn't want people getting shot up every weekend in all the major cities run by Democrats. Why? Because he doesn't want to have to step over urine puddles and fecal matter and hypodermic needles in San Francisco sidewalks, stepping over sleeping bags and crazy people just terrorizing all their neighbors. Well, that's so divisive. No, that's adult. That's what anybody would want if they had any sort of self-respect. It's the broken window theory. You got a problem, you clean it up. Problem comes back, clean it up again. You work on it until it's done and you fix it. No, because he said very fine people. You know the very fine people hoax was a hoax, right? Or do you only watch CNN or MSNBC? Because the fine people hoax was a hoax. Trump called those two bad groups fine people. He never said that. Anybody? Are you really still believing what MSNBC and CNN told you? You cannot listen to the lying legacy media outside of the realm of skepticism and humor to hear the worst possible takes imaginable. That's what you watch the lying legacy media for. You want to know what the deep state's up to? Watch their most prominently displayed propagandists, most highly paid and prominently displayed propaganda artists. Go ahead, listen. You want to hear what's not true? Listen to Adam Schiff and Kinzinger. Are they both Adam? Adam Kinzinger? It is Adam Kinzinger, right? And Adam Schiff. Up and at them. Question of the day, what was that from? Up and at them. But yeah, the NFL has... We love sports for the escapism. We love sports for the heroic plays, the heroic feats, and the acts of skill, and coaching, and maneuvering, and just it's such a great game. The injuries are terrible, but football is such a great sport we can all learn so much from. But I just don't get it. I don't know who this is appealing to. And during COVID, all the Kaepernick crap, like we're there to get enjoy a few hours where we don't have to get bombarded with lies and fake issues and divisive stuff. I mean, I don't enjoy watching this. It does make me uncomfortable. Anybody can do what they want to do. I've had friends, oh, let's go to a drag bar. Let's go to brunch, a drag brunch. I'm like, I don't know. When I see ladies that if my brain is registering seductive ladies and attractive ladies, but they're dudes that are tucking things, like I don't really want to like think about things that I'm not very interested in participating in. Like I'm good. Like I'm gonna thanks for the invite. I'm going to decline. I don't want to look at dudes in that manner. Ever. I don't want to look at dudes in that manner. Yes, I went to Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yes, I did bartend at a drag bar. Yes, I did bartend at another place too. Work is work. I actually didn't bartend on drag night. There were two bars. We were the downstairs bar and they were the upstairs bar. I was upstairs on, what was it? 80s night? Goth. It was like 80s night, goth night. And then I was downstairs on Wednesday when they had that upstairs. I didn't really work there that night, but no, I'm not interested. I don't know who the NFL is marketing to that is going to love this. And once again, feats of strength and athletic prowess. Go ahead, lift that lady up, do the bowling ball thing. Serve your tray of drinks up high above your head. You flip somebody, they do the cartwheel, and then you're holding them by the foot, and then they're standing up, and it's balance and it's strength, and you're like, yeah, look at me. This feels like cosplay. It feels like this dude is pretending to be a lady cheerleader. I don't get what the NFL sees in putting this out. It looks like a Saturday Night Live skit. It looks like something Will Ferrell would be doing. Like I said, to each their own. I don't appreciate the gyrations. I don't want to see it. You're into this, fine, but I don't know why the NFL is like pushing this at us this season. Here you go. What is it, like 10 teams are doing this? Thought of the day. Tell me what you think of this. No big deal, sort of a big deal. Like what? Put it in the comments. Like, and be as respectful as you can, because like I said, I'm not a fan of this. I don't want to see this. I want to be careful to keep the right energy about it and not get into like, Anyway. Welcome to the NFL. By the way, keep your eyes peeled because we will be doing an episode of, where's it at? We'll be doing the Unhappy Hour, maybe later today. I know we were going to aim at yesterday. Yesterday didn't work out for my schedule. Maybe today with Ezrael covering the NFL. Week 2 in the books. Week 2 in the books for preseason. One more preseason game, and then the NFL is about ready to start up. So how excited are we about that? Also, stay tuned. Strictly Football with Brian Engelman and Mike Barra, as seen on Toxically Masculine Tuesday, and Ancient Aliens, and heard on Coast to Coast AM. I guess he's doing a regular news segment now. Good for him. Episode 23, 24, 25? I got to double check, but we started this and did one episode per week, and we intend to do it this year as well, Strictly Football. So, okay, are we done watching this? I really don't want to watch this anymore. Why has this been playing for so many minutes? You would think I'm obsessed with it, with how much airtime I've given this fancy dancing. All right, here's a fun flashback as we unpack the news, and Hillary and Bill are, guess what, in the news again. The next time you attempt to lie, just remember that time that the Lord almost took out Hillary Clinton because she was lying.
The 12-year affair with you. That allegation is false.
You know, I'm not sitting here as some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. I'm sitting here because I love him.
And for added drama, a light fell off the wall and nearly hit them.
You know, an average person... Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Ooh.
He's alleging the 12-year affair with you.
Do you remember this?
That allegation is false.
You know, I'm not sitting here as some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. I'm sitting here because I love him.
And for added drama, a light...
I love she brought out that accent talking about Tammy Wynette.
Fell off the wall and nearly hit them.
You know, an average person. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Woo.
He's alleging the 12-year.
That's an interesting clip from the vault. What is that? 30 years? How many years ago? Goodness. 30 years old clip. Lake Leon, question of the day. My doctor cares if I never come back. Yeah. Marion, I have a great doctor. Same one for 15 plus years. All right. Well, you must be stable, Marion. That's good for you. 50. I'm trying to remember how long well, I don't know. All right. Lake Leon, male cheerleaders are buff, not skinny little soy boys. I'm watching that. It looks like the guy's playing cosplay. It looks like he's making fun of the girls. Why does it look like he's making fun? He's just emulating them. Is that what you say for cultural appropriation? No, that's different. How is that different? These. Can someone make sense of that for me? How is one appropriation and the other's not? Seems like that dude's like pretending to be a girl, trying to steal their mannerisms and stuff. You'll be doing the backflips and male cheerleaders are buff, not skinny little soy boys. Hello, David. David chimes in from Minneapolis. Well, chimes in on behalf of Minnesota, saying it's lost in so many ways. David, being from Ontario, is familiar with Minneapolis. Minnesota in general. Very, general region. North Central America. South Central Canada-ish. David, it would be a no. Never would go to any of those places or events. Nick's appreciating that throwback. All right, let's listen a third time. I keep hot sauce in my purse.
Fair with you. That allegation is false.
That allegation depends upon what your definition of the word is.
You know, I'm not sitting here as some little woman standing by my man like Tammy Wynette. I'm sitting here because I love him.
And for added drama, a light fell off the wall and nearly hit them.
You know, an average person. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Woo.
He's alleging.
Additionally, Bill Clinton did put his arm around her and bring her out. That was fast. You couldn't really be prepared for that situation. His instincts were spot on, it seemed like. Which I find to be interesting. Interesting little takeaway. And I get that Tammy Wynette, stand by your man. Maybe she was doing a Tammy Wynette impersonation there, but she also said, I keep hot sauce in my purse, dear. Every time I come on these black podcasts, I'm sorry, y'all call them, what do y'all call them up there in the North? Y'all call them African American, indigenous. I can't keep up, but every time I do these podcasts and talk shows, radio shows, whatever it is, myself, Hillary Rodham Clinton, I keep hot sauce in my purse, and I make sure I tell every one of my black brothers and sisters. Can I say that? Is that okay? I mean that from a good place in the heart. Is that okay? But I keep hot sauce in my purse. And Tammy Wynette, stand by your man. It ain't like that. I'm trying to take over JFK Jr.'s spot. And my accent's getting a little weirder the more that I talk in it, don't it? I did not have talk like Southern Hillary Clinton impression on my bingo board for today. But I was listening to here's another random question of the day. Type it in the comments. Do you have any favorite impressionists? I was listening to Jay Moore do Bill Burr. That's interesting. 2 people, 4 names, 2 first names, 2 last names, all one syllable. Bill Burr, Jay Moore. That's interesting. Jay Moore, he does a Bill Burr, right? What's so good about that? What am I supposed to be impressed? And the more Jay Moore did the Bill Burr, what the hell? Hey, thank you all, everybody, for being here on a Monday. But the more Jay Moore did the Bill Burr with Adam Carolla, he couldn't get out of the accent. He couldn't stop doing it. Really? Really? What the hell's so impressive about that? Huh? Eh. And the more it dragged on, the more he could not stop doing it. And I realized I think I was doing dishes and washing the what do they call it? Pounding it out or pound it out or hash it out or something. They're working out bits. They're doing comedy bits and I got a concept and I'm trying to make it funny. Like, what is the angle? How much? And they're just working it out. So I love the concept of comedy, just learning how to craft a bit and then go perform it. I need to get back up and performing. I've reprioritized a couple of things and I have not been focused on stand-up comedy for the past few weeks. I would like to get back to it very fast because I think it is a component of who I am and what I want to do for sure. But yeah, that slight Southern accent she had back then. It's crazy. David says, I like the NFL game, but not how they fix them. I know. It's like they can fix components of it. Yeah, I really don't like the phantom holding calls and the phantom pass interference. Like, that's the easiest way to rig a game. It really is. Or to ignore a blatant hold on the other team just to benefit the Chiefs. I can't stand that. David saying about the Clintons, they're both demons, so I'm not surprised they will protect themselves. That's true. Frank Caliendo back in the day. Yeah, I got to see, and that is the great part about performing stand-up comedy, where I do. All the national touring acts that come through, as performers, we get to kind of like go into the back and just watch and just soak it all up. And I try to go see as many as possible. And Frank Caliendo was in a month or two ago, and it was great. Yeah, I think he did a Bill Clinton and a George W. Bush. And it kind of depends what era you're in. Like Dana Carvey wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. 1,000 points of light. Doing his George Bush. Yeah, I mean, it really matters. Like Chevy Chase. Who did he do? He did Ford, right? Who did Carter? Was that him too? I don't remember Carter. Who did Reagan? Yeah, I remember Dana Carvey is like George Bush. And then everybody after that. Anyway, I love a good impressionist. But anyway, that was an interesting thing as we look back on the Clintons, because we're definitely looking into the Clintons right now. But as I commented on X, I am so tired of investigations and hearings and just arrest them. We know what the grand conspiracy is. We all see it. The top 1,000 people just on the same day at 3 a.m, just arrest them all. Just get them in. Grand conspiracy. Charge them. Get them off the streets. We all see what we see, right? As sure as the sun is rising in the sky, we can see the criminality and how they've been intentionally trying to destroy this place. Oh, yeah, Jim Carrey, great impressionist. Rich Little, there's a good one. Yeah, today I like Tyler Fisher. Jay Moore's great. Godfrey does some really good voices. Adam Ray today, like he just transforms into Biden, or Shane Gillis as Trump. Oh my gosh. I love a good impression. All right, Ben Swan, who has been on the show multiple times. I think he's been on the Agree to Disagree show once or twice, and we've interviewed him in person. Haven't talked to him in a while. Would like to. Ben Swan reporting here. Monday's meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky promises to not be boring. Or you could say promises to be interesting. Despite the head of the EU and leaders from France, Germany, the UK, and Finland, as well as the head of NATO, all in attendance, Trump has reportedly told Zelensky he will meet with him alone. The other leaders can join them for dinner. Meanwhile, Zelensky appears to be rejecting the terms Trump laid out on Friday night and Saturday.
Putin has been unable to take it for 12 years, and the constitution of Ukraine makes it
By the way, this Zelensky guy has suspended elections in his country, became a dictator. You can't question him. You can't vote him out and say we need to go a different direction. This guy is ruling this entire place, this Ukraine, with an iron fist, engaged in a hot, active war. And by banning elections, criminalizing opposing thought, has locked them into a state of perpetual war. By the way, with America on the hook, allegedly, for all these weapons, like why is this our job? I know, it's the deep states. Victoria Nuland, Joe Biden, Barack Hussein Obama, Hunter Biden, we know. That's not us, though. We don't want to keep putting hundreds of thousands of people into body bags. We don't, we especially don't want to pay for it. So when you listen to Zelensky, remember who he is. He's the puppet that they put in when they overthrew Yanukovych in 13, 14. Victoria Nuland, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. That's who Zelensky is. Just don't forget it.
impossible to give up territory or trade land. Since the territorial issue is so important, it should be discussed only by the leaders of Ukraine and Russia at the trilateral Ukraine, United States, Russia. So far, Russia gives no sign that trilateral will happen, and if Russia refuses, then new sanctions must follow. Putin has...
Yeah. And by the way, if you keep hearing this talk, like even Hillary Clinton wants to give Trump a Nobel Peace Prize. No. She said do the impossible. Try to end the war without the lines of the country being drawn. No, Russia's not giving up the land that it's taken. Like a battle has occurred and it's done. They control that land. They're not giving it back. So if you want a war to go on forever, keep fighting over that area. How important is it to you, dear American, dear Canadian, dear viewer of the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media? I'd rather just see us get out of this war. Thank you very much. By the way, let me put this up on the screen to anybody interested. If you like the New American Media, these are the ways you can support us. We're on Patreon at the New American Media, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Tip jar, Venmo, and Cash App at BrianEngelman. That's my name. And PayPal, the email is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com if anybody would like to support what we do here on the New American Media. I love unpacking the news each and every day with you. The New American Media is also at the bottom of the screen. Take a look. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube at the New American Media. Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. On X at American_media_. And subscribe to our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show, on Spotify and Apple. All right. So there's Zelensky. And we'll type looks like Zelensky doesn't want to end this terror. This terror is not the right word. End this meat grinder. When can Ukrainians vote him out to get peace? Oh, wait. Didn't Zelensky ban elections and opposing politicians? So, did he become a dictator? I had thoughts on Zelensky. All right. So everyone's watching that.
What do you?
Stephen Miller on Fox talking about Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. Do you agree or disagree with this sentiment? I would agree, but I want to get your thoughts. Agree or disagree with Stephen Miller?
You say, Stephen.
The mayor of Los Angeles and the governor of California are in the largest sanctuary city and the largest sanctuary state in America. They refuse to turn over tens of thousands of serial criminal illegal aliens to ICE. So they get arrested by state or local authorities and they get cut loose. They then go on to commit crimes like assault, armed robbery, home invasion, and murder. The most unimaginable, egregious crimes you could think of. All of that blood, all of that suffering, all of that heartache, squarely on the soul and conscience of California's governor and the mayor of Los Angeles. They are guilty of crimes against humanity. They are facilitating child trafficking, sex trafficking. Look, they think this is a game. They think this is a joke. This is life and death. When you meet with the families, as you have, Griff, whose loved ones have been raped and killed and slaughtered by criminal illegal aliens who have no right to be in this country, what Newsom are doing and what Bass is doing are unforgivable. And God bless our ICE agents and Border Patrol agents for going out there and doing this mission on behalf and on the orders of President Trump to make America safe for our citizens. The Democrat Party seems to only care about two groups right now, criminals and illegal aliens. And that's it. Donald Trump's Republican Party is fighting for law-abiding American citizens, and you're seeing the results right here in Washington, D.C., where the most violent city that we have in this country is now becoming, day by day, and will become one of the safest cities in the whole country.
What do you say, Steve?
Wow. So, question of the day, do you agree or disagree with Stephen Miller? What say you? Our comment was that Democrats are committing crimes against humanity at every turn. They've become a terrorist organization who destroy America. We simply must remove and indict the worst of the worst immediately. Stephen Miller is quite an articulate communicator. Grammy Award nominated country singer Jason Aldean brought out cancer survivor and patriot DJ Daniels on stage during his concert to show Daniels how much support he truly has.
I gotta tell you, man, I spent a few hours with this guy today, and when I tell you he's a kid that will brighten your day up, I'm not kidding. This guy is pretty unbelievable right here. And so, with the help from our sponsors, Patriot Mobile, and also the Houston Astros, we were able to give Heroes for Children a check today for over $200,000 to help kids fighting. Anybody that thinks they're having a rough day, this guy right here is an inspiration, should be an inspiration to everybody. Fighting, battling every single day. This is what it's all about right here. He's got a great dad in his corner, and man, I just want to say, thanks for letting me hang out with you today. You asked us to raise some money, and that's exactly what we did. So, we love you, man. Obviously, we're going to stay in touch. We're buddies now, right? We're going to stay in touch, and wish this guy nothing but the best, right?
There you go. That's nice. That's what you do in a small town. All right, Roblox. Are you following Roblox? I didn't realize how bad this was, but take a look here.
Okay.
This Roblox YouTuber created a new account and joined a popular game. And then within minutes, what happens?
So I've just made a fresh account, brand new Roblox account. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to join Meep City. And I just want to see how long it takes until I see something inappropriate in the game. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and join on in. This is a fresh account. All right, never played on it before. And yep, there's a penis. So that's about let's see here, about 10 seconds. So just to give an example of how bad this problem is on Roblox here, it's like that was a random server I don't have any friends added. There's no one, this isn't a trick or anything. I just joined a random server. And, I could join another one. I'll probably see something else inappropriate. That's how bad the issue is here. Okay, so I've just made a fresh account, brand new Roblox account. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to join Meep City. And I just want to see how long it takes until I see something inappropriate in the game. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and join on in. This is a fresh account. All right, never played on it before. And yep, there's a penis. So that's about let's see.
It didn't take long.
About 10 seconds.
Yeah, you need to watch your kids and what your kids are up to. 100%. Ugh. All right. I know nobody's favorite person, Pam Bondi. Let's just imagine a universe where maybe she is doing some good stuff and we will get a payoff on this. Beats the alternative. We'll find out. I'm not going to hold my breath, but Pam Bondi says over 300 arrests in Washington, D.C. and counting. Just last night, our federal and D.C. law enforcement partners made 68 arrests, seized 15 illegal firearms. Well, what's an illegal firearm? Homicide suspects, drug traffickers, and more are being charged. I'll continue to stand with you as we make D.C. safe again. Homicide suspects, drug traffickers, and more. The fewer, the better. All right. The godfather of AI, Jeffrey Hinton, talking about the military use of AI.
I think it's very sad that Google's now going to be contributing to military uses of AI. So we've seen military use of AI in Gaza already.
Yes.
And we'll see autonomous lethal weapons. We'll see swarms of drones that go and kill people, maybe people of a particular kind.
You think that's a distinct possibility?
Oh, yes. I think the defense departments of all the major arms suppliers are busy working on that. If you look at the European regulations, they had some regulations on AI, which were quite sensible in some respects. But there's a little clause in there that says none of these regulations apply to military uses of AI. I think it's very sad that Google's now going to be contributing to...
I think it reset there. Yeah, Google's a DARPA product. DARPA tied to the hip of the military. Military oversees DARPA programs. It's the new world order, it seems. Swarms of drones that going off people. That's what you're watching in Russia is what's coming to a neighborhood near you. Not saying for better or worse. It's just that's the way it's going to be. Yeah, they say you can't even duck your head outside in that Russia-Ukraine war. You just get blown up by drones. Muse was making videos about this 10, 15 years ago. David says so many pedos playing Roblox. It's gross. Spam Blondie is not a good speaker. Miller is quite well spoken. Top notch. Yes. David saying if you have biolabs in your country for the wrong purposes, you have to go. Yeah, that is. A lot of people have been reporting on that in Ukraine. There's a lot going on in Ukraine aside from, they're fighting Russia. There's a lot going on with bioweapons, with trafficking. You hear the rumors of a greater Israel. And you're like, huh? What does that have to do with it? And then you listen to someone talk for 30 minutes. And you're like, is that a thing? There's a lot going on. David says, so in other words, the military can do whatever they want with militarized AI. Haven't they always been able to do whatever they want? The golden rule, he who has the gold makes the rules. I'm not advocating or anything. I'm just saying, isn't that, the military leaders with the consent of the governed run the planet. And even without the consent of the governed, We end up how we end up, right? All right, let's take a look here. Toria Brooke puts this out. In case you missed it, in the below thread of Dan Scavino comments, they ask Grok about Q, and they say, is it real? Grok says yes, and WWG1WGA. Weston Lebo says, so is it real? Grok says, given the cumulative probabilities, now less than 1 in 10, does that mean 10 to the 15th power? Why don't they just do this? I don't know if that's what that means, 10 to the 15th power. With layered buckle-up mirrors on the Q clock amid 2025 judicial events. Q defies dismissal as mere LARP. Live-action role-playing. Evidence is mounting. Synchronized predictions are manifesting. Yes, it's real. Now, I asked Grok 2 days ago on X. Someone posted those, those child abuser signals, those little logos, those little triangle things and images and a picture of Obama. And I said, at Grok, is this true? And Grok said, no, it's a conspiracy theory. There's nothing to see there. There are no codes. There are no shapes. There are no logos that signify anything about anything. It's a conspiracy theory. I'm like, so I replied to that post. We asked Grok and they said it's a conspiracy theory. And people are like angry at me. I'm like, I didn't say I said I asked Grok and they said, why would you ask a machine? Oh, one guy, I can't even repeat to you what he said. It's crazy. It's crazy. But hey, look, Q is telling you. I'm sorry, Grok is telling you Q is real. What is this image of? There's a picture, Dan Scavino. I don't know what I'm looking at. All right, let's keep it moving. End Wokeness put this out. Here's a homeless camp that's cleared in D.C. Before you ask, yes, we voted for it. You know, I would prefer people given a chance to thrown into trash compactor. Also, it's not a camp. You don't do this. What do you don't just do this. All right, check out Bolivia. Leftist presidential candidate Andronico Rodriguez was booed and hit with stones by supporters of former President Evo Morales, who is currently barred from the election. They call Rodriguez a traitor for running independently in this election.
Andrónico Rodríguez, porque los electores y las personas que se encontraban en este recinto electoral comenzaron a lanzarle piedras. Andrónico, recordemos que era vicepresidente de las 6 federaciones de productores de hoja de coca, tuvo que salir corriendo de este lugar. Un par de horas antes, recordemos un artefacto.
I mean, if it put Trump out there versus Biden, tell me which.
Acto explosivo detonó cerca del colegio en el que Andrónico Rodríguez tenía que emitir su voto. Estas son imágenes de lo que sucedió en Entre Ríos luego de que Andrónico Rodríguez, el candidato de la alianza.
But there are more places that are getting rid of their leftist abusers. All right, President Putin says Russia's sovereignty over the Kherson, Zaporizhzhia, Donetsk, and Lugansk regions is permanent and non-negotiable.
Запорожской области, так же как и Донецкой и Луганской народной республики.
So, yeah, if Zelensky doesn't think that the maps are going to get redrawn, then he's saying, I want this war to just continue. I want it to be nonstop. Okay. And if Trump can't get it to, well, he's a Putin puppet. He's just capitulating. You can't give Putin what he wants. Interestingly enough, though, that is the same argument that Trump is using with Palestine. You can't give Hamas what they want. They started a war, and you don't give them statehood and reward them for taking hostages. Okay. Isn't that the same thing? You can't reward Putin with land for starting a war? If Trump's going to be out there saying that about Israel, shouldn't he be out there saying it about this? Isn't it this exact same thing? No, it's of course not the exact same. Nothing is the exact same. There's similarities, there's differences. We know that. But that's a good question of the day. In what ways does that argument hold up? In which ways does it fall apart? Because it sounds like, and we'll see with the meeting and Trump and Zelensky. Are they meeting literally right now? I'm seeing some posts. Are they meeting right now? Let me see if I can go live. Hey, Kenneth, what's up? Putin on the Ritz. If you're new and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where YouTube gives me a copyright strike for singing? Putin on the Ritz. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. If you're new and you don't know where to. Wasn't that in Young Frankenstein? Bride of Frankenstein. Young Frankenstein? Bride of Frankenstein. I think it was. All right. Anyway, let's keep it going. President Donald Trump, according to Insider Papers, supports Russian leader Vladimir Putin's proposal for Moscow to take full control of Donbass and freeze the front lines elsewhere for a deal with Ukraine. Just stop it where it stands. Just stop where you are. According to German newspaper Bild, Zelensky's European babysitters will not be allowed in the room when Zelensky meets Trump and will only be included later at dinner. Another epic humiliation for the Europeans. Hans Manke reporting. I don't know. Wait, it is Young Frankenstein, not Bride of Frankenstein. Young Frankenstein. Yeah, Young Frankenstein. I knew that. I said it wrong, though. I said the wrong thing. I don't know if it's an epic humiliation. He's a big boy and they got to sort it out. And you got vested interests from all these other people and you got to do what's right for your people. Do you just stop, call a truce and move on? Try to restore some normalcy? I mean, you're fighting a losing battle. Everyone knows it. Why don't you just stop while you can? I mean, isn't that what's going on with Hamas, though? They're fighting a losing battle. And they started a war. They picked a fight. Of course they're going to lose their land. It's gone. Like, you don't get to be there anymore. Like, that's what war is. That's why we try to avoid it. War sucks. Yeah, you lose territory in a war. That's why you should try to avoid it. Instead of overthrowing your country in 2014, putting a comedian in and then running NATO up to the border to provoke a violent outburst. Whose brilliant idea was that? Well, that was the deep state. That was Victoria Nuland. Don't you know? Well, you're not fully understanding resources in our 30-year plan. We have a 100-year plan, and it's all part of geopolitics. Shut up. Shut up. You guys think you're too damn smart, too damn calculating for your own good. This is stupid. And it's not something we as Americans need to be on the hook for. You're bleeding us dry. You're robbing us. You're pirates. We see the money laundering, the theft. Enough. You want to go get off on your human sacrifices? Have Europe pay for it. I don't want to send American boots on the ground to go get annihilated in this stupid game of chicken. I don't want to participate in it. Anyway. All right, here's Washington, D.C. And that's not against the... Yeah. There's plenty of good people in Ukraine. And Ukraine is also one of the most corrupt countries on earth. So, yeah, that's easy for you to say. You live in America. America's even worse than Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, you kind of got me there, but we're trying to fix some stuff. Well, with the Epstein guy that won't release the Epstein stuff, where's the Epstein thing? Where's Epstein? Well, why didn't you tell us about Epstein? Where's the Epstein thing? I think Trump's on the Epstein list. Didn't you hear what Elon Musk said? It's about Epstein. Fuck. I don't have much to say about that now, do I? It's where the hell is the list? And they're looking sus. They're looking super sus. I'm just calling things out as I see them. Tell me, where am I right? Where am I wrong on this stuff? Just throwing ideas up at the wall. All right, Washington, D.C. National Guard members are patrolling the city, and they may soon be carrying weapons. Why aren't they carrying weapons? According to Army Senior Master Sergeant Craig Clapper from NPR. Radio Genoa says, let's remember who we are. Make the Coliseum great again. Okay. All right. I don't know. Illegal Mexican immigrants. What is this? What is the context of this? We'll just let this lady talk in her own words. And you tell me if America's in the middle of being invaded by malevolent forces.
Hold your hand when I say this. We do not move to America because we think it's a better country.
Oh, really? Okay. We don't move to America because it's a better country. Okay. You want me to hold your hand? Okay. We're invading. We're going to change this place from the inside out. And there's nothing you can do about it, she's saying.
Then get the fuck out. Cállate la boca. Get the fuck out. You know, growing up as a black American, I never thought I would have so much. But get the fuck out. How the hell you talking shit about the place you want to stay in so bad? Get the fuck out. Who the fuck breaks into a place and then talk shit about the place that you done broke into? The fuck out. You and your attitudes and overstage, you're welcome. Get out. No disrespect to any hardworking person who is grateful for the life that they have.
Hold your hand when I say this. We do not move to America because we think it's a better country.
Then get the fuck out.
Kindred spirits with this dude right here. GTFO. But it's an invasion. They're trying to take over city blocks, take over apartment complexes, take over cities, take over councils, take over congressional districts, take over states, take over regions, take over the country. Hey, has this ever happened to you? That's the look you give when you realize you're not talking to one of your alternative health friends and you're sounding a little crazy. This happens to me sometimes. I just, I'm in the graduate level classes. I forget that there's a lot of people that don't pay any attention to anything. And like maybe they saw something on the news or heard a dumb friend who seemed pretty convinced that she knew what she was talking about, regurgitate something that a Marxist professor drilled inside of her head to ruin her life. And you're like, I don't need to keep talking about this now, do I? Here's a woke activist, Amanda Seales, getting cooked by a black conservative on reparations, shared by the right-winged Angel. I think right-winged Angel is a black dude, I think. All right, woke activist gets cooked.
Our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country. Did
you see how she gave that big sigh and rolled her eyes? Oh, how dare he say something like that? What did he say that was out of line there?
A black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president and we had a black vice president. I mean, I think she was black. They said she was black. I don't know. So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward.
That is the Obama doctrine, focusing on division. Taking something and trying to amplify it. I told Michelle, leaving church, or was it? I think we were paddle boarding. Or no, I was being paddled by Michelle, and I told Michael. I said, I told Michelle, if I had a son, if my fake wife over here, no, she's my real wife. I was going to make a joke about your barren womb, but that's just too far afield. Anyway, look, the thing is, I told Michelle the other day, if I had a son, my son would look like Trayvon Martin. I just have a hunch he would have jumped a guy, hiding behind the bushes, jumped onto him, and started doing the ground and pound maneuver to crack his skull open in a homicide. If I had a kid, he'd look like Trayvon. So I called up my buddy LeBron. I said, "Hey, LeBron, it's me, Barry." Yeah. No. Hold on, LeBron. I still play better defense than you, even in my mom jeans. But look, you're down there in Florida. Right. And I need a little dap me up a little bit. Look, I want you to get your whole team, the Miami Cheat, together. I know they call you the Cheat because you colluded to work your contracts to all leave your teams and form a super team. I know. But look, you're down there in Florida. There's this one case of one guy, kind of a big guy, but we're going to show pictures of this kid when he was like 8, real sympathetic. Like, we want you to wear hoodies, take a picture in the Miami Heat outfit. In fact, I think we have a viewer for the TNAM Daily Show watching from Florida today. Maybe a couple. I think we have Kenneth watching from. Yes, and I'm using the old time telephone. Yeah, no cell phone for me. Remember, I was installed in 2008. Like right around the time of smartphones. So maybe I do have a real phone, an Obama phone, as it were. But look, LeBron, I need you to get the Miami Heat. Yeah, no, look, it's. You're right. It's. Thank you for pointing that out. It's not just Kenneth down there in Florida. It's also Nick Adams. Nick's doing his Nick Adams show. Yeah, no, I'm not going to get hoodwinked or bamboozled. I'm not going to watch the Nick Adams show. But look, listen, LeBron, back to the point at hand. Here's the deal. Put on hoodies. We're going to do a photo op, and we're going to blast it through ABC, ESPN, Disney. We got Jimmy Kimmel. We got the brass at Disney turning everything woke. ESPN can't watch that trash. They're not defending women's spaces. Michael said it was pretty important to her. Michelle said it was pretty important to her. The guys who want to pretend to be ladies should be able to beat up on ladies in sports. And so we're pushing that, right? We're pushing that on ESPN. We're doing you saw the ESPYs. Yeah, Bruce Jenner. Don't you dare dead name that man. That's Caitlyn now. Because we can just become women, right? Michelle, what was the name of that book you wrote? That's right. Becoming. Because we can just become something. Ask Joan Rivers. Anyway, look, LeBron, get back to the hoodie. Back to the point. Wear the hoodie. I want you to wear the hoodies and, I don't know, raise a black power fist or something or make a mess. I'll tell you what. I'll have a member of my communications team tell you what to type. And if you do that for me, I will not let those Diddy tapes see the light of day. And some people will call you the GOAT. Oh, no, don't worry. I'm from Chicago. No, I'm from Chicago, and you can take my word. In fact, I'll tell you why. The other alleged GOAT, greatest of all time in NBA, Michael Jordan. You know what he was doing? Yeah. Pete Rose had nothing on him. That man gambled on everything. What do you think happened with his father on the roadside and that execution? You think that was random? That was an unpaid debt, gambling. We never let that get out. I mean, allegedly. That's not a thing. That's just something that people say. Wank. Yeah, I made the winky sound. Yeah. Funny, LeBron. Don't make a winky joke about Michelle. Don't want to hear that. But look, if you do the solid for me, we'll get you on ESPN a little bit more. A couple more endorsement deals. A couple of our corporations that we've seized control of. They're part of our deep state, right? You play ball and you'll have riches beyond your wildest dreams. And Nobody will see those Diddy tapes. Right. So put on the Trayvon, put on the hoodies. Yeah, yep. Even the slow white guys, have them put the hoodies on, cuck them out. We'll try to turn George Zimmerman into a white Hispanic or something. I don't know. We'll try to paint him white. And that's what we're going to do. That is the Obama doctrine. It's constant racial division. Take one little story and turn it into something big. Because, if I had a son, LeBron, he would look a lot like Trayvon. Because reasons. Right. It's what I learned. It's the Chicago way. Yep. Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Mm-hmm. Yep. Little Red Schoolhouse. It's about Marxism, cultural Marxism, Leninism, Stalinism. If it's a bad ism, it's something I'm going to be pushing. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, LeBron. Thank you much. That's the Obama doctrine, pushing division at every turn. Using sports, using athletes, using music, using everything you can. Use your ABC, ESPN, Disney. Use your corporate cash. Use it all. People are so sick of it.
People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality.
That is how you win at life. Just keep going. You just got to keep going. Nobody wants a pity party. Figure it out.
Our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country.
Anyway. We just typed America is healing. This was weird. You ever see this? Got to mute. Scripted and recycled characters on the world stage. Take a look at this. What do you make of this? Jamie Presley on the left, Margot Robbie on the right. That's pretty doggone close to the exact same person. Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Very similar looking people. Same eyes, same entity, this page says. World stage script. There's Lady Gaga and Amy Winehouse. I mean, there's only so many types of humans, though, right? All right, there's Helen Mirren and Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know who Skylar Astin and Dane Cook. But yeah, some of these side by this one's disturbing. Misha Barton and Elijah Wood. Little disturbing. I don't know. I'm starting to not know who some of these names are. Emma Watson and Richard Dawkins. I mean, come on. I don't even know what I'm looking at here. But yeah, I mean, there's only so many facial structures. Julia Roberts and Anne Hathaway. George Clooney and Cary Grant. Christopher Atkins and Mark Hamill. Hugh Jackman and Clint Eastwood. Katherine Heigl and Melissa Peterman. Brad Pitt and Robert Redford. John Lennon and Steve Jobs. Some of these are pretty doggone. I don't know. Somebody took the time to put this together, I think is what I was trying to say there. 3 phrases were coming out at once. What do you think? All right, there's a question of the day, a random one. Do you think we have clones floating around the entertainment industry right now? The media industry? Do we have clones? And question of the day, tell me who you think are some of the clones. I've heard some of the names. Very interesting. I just wonder how much we don't know. All right, man on the street here from the Blaze. Trying to find out how residents of DC are feeling about Trump's actions.
Here on 8th Street.
I've been on 8th Street for 4 years, but a hairdresser in D.C. for 15.
President Trump's surge of federal agents and the National Guard. What is your opinion of this deployment?
Well, I think it's a good thing. We had a man murdered in our front yard one night, and a guy fired a gun half a block away. The lock on the front door to get buzzed into the salon isn't for decoration.
There's music. I don't even like reading the news anymore. Every day you have people getting killed in carjackings, and no, it doesn't feel like the crime rate is down. I live in D.C., so when I see people on the ground, I either give them a Narcan or call it in.
I haven't seen that today. This is a daily occurrence. Like every time
you leave out your door, I'm all about what's going to make D.C. safer for me and my children. Hell yeah, I disagree with Trump. He's a crazy maniac. What?
A Hitler type.
Do you think the crime rate in D.C. is not as big of a problem as you make it?
No. You walk in the street, ain't nobody jumping on you. You don't need a whole bunch of police around here.
What do you do here on 8th Street?
Yeah, and hey, last guy who was interviewed. DC needs a proper cleanup. It needs a very proper cleanup. I've been there a few times in the past few years and kind of blown away by it all. All right, what is this? It's a possibility, David says, with clones and whatnot. It is interesting. Are they soulless, I wonder? Yeah. What does it even mean to have a soul? Clones, yes, says Kenneth. The current Obama likely. You think the Obama got swapped out? Is it possible that the Biden was swapped out? Remember that time where there was that emergency landing and then they turned around and went back? It was like over Vegas or LA or something. And then they decided, nope, you can go back. There's no emergency anymore. Why is that? Did he expire in that moment? I don't know. But it's been rumored. It has been rumored. All right. FJB was a clone. There you go. Yeah. There were several different versions of Biden. How about that super tall Biden? Remember that weird one? Well, they were all weird. And he walked like C-3PO. Like it looked like he was just a robot. It looked like a robot walking in a skin suit. Anyway, that last guy is lost. All right, big victory for the Second Amendment. Department of Justice backs down, says Kristen Sokolov. Federal ban on guns in post offices has been struck down. A Florida judge ruled the ban unconstitutional, citing no historical tradition of restricting firearms in post offices. Case involved a USPS driver, Emmanuel Ayala, arrested in 2022 for carrying with a valid permit. DOJ chose not to appeal, letting the ruling stand nationwide. Second Amendment trumps illegal infringements. Agree or disagree? So that happened. 8 years later, we still don't know the full story. We don't know the full truth about this. Anyone? Gotta mute it. There you go. Do you remember this in Vegas? People are asking, was it belt fed? Are these different weapons? Are these echoes? We covered this story at length, but do we still know anything about it? How many seconds does it take before they realize what's going on? To stop the music. It sort of almost sounds like a helicopter, but I think they're different rounds from a different place. There. Now the music stopped and he's running off. 10 seconds. This needs to be declassified already. Vegas shooting. I don't think we know. Looking for context on this. From a little bit ago, maybe like a month ago, that looks like maybe a Mexican flag covering their face. Los Angeles throwing things. Is that gasoline starting fires? Look at this. On the heels of burning California down. It's got music. So I'm looking for context there, but a lot of intentional destruction from invaders, huh? People trying to terrorize communities, waving flags of other places. That's an invasion, pal. That's an invasion. I have been covering this story about people about to lose their water, I think in Northern California, Central California.
Water in Potter Valley, California.
Potter Valley, California. The Klamath Dam. Here you go.
As our governor, Gavin Newsom, wants to be known as the greenest governor in America ahead of his presidential run. While the dams belong to PG&E, Gavin Newsom is taking full credit for the fact that they're about to be torn down. And there's already been an agreement in place to ensure that ratepayers and taxpayers will pay to have these dams removed. So not only are 600,000 people going to lose water and green energy when these hydroelectric plants are senselessly ripped out, we're also going to pay for the privilege. This is so that PG&E, again, Gavin Newsom's second highest donor, doesn't have to foot the cost for removing this vital infrastructure our rural community relies on. Since 2017, 2 of the 3 largest fires in California's state history have happened in this exact area. Both have been fought with water from the Potter Valley project. Farms and ranches are going to be destroyed. Towns are going to turn into ghost towns. This is the Palisades all over again, but it's happening in a farm and ag district you've never heard of. Gavin Newsom is hanging us out to dry. He knows he's going to cause mass suffering, but he wants to do that for his profile as an environmentally conscious governor ahead of his run for president in 2028. We're about to lose our water in Potter Valley, California, because our governor, Gavin Newsom, wants to be known as the greenest governor.
So whatever Gavin touches falls apart. Keep your eyes peeled. He is angling to try to take over. No, thank you. All right. Did you see this? We talk about America being overthrown. This here from End Wokeness. 3 out of 6 Hamtramck city councilmen in Michigan are now under investigation for election rigging. Muhit Mahmoud, Abu Musa, Khalil Rafai, Mohammed Al-Sawmiri, Muhtasin Sadman, not Sandman. Tell him the Sandman sent ya. Not Enter Sandman. This is Sadman. And Mohammed Hassan. Were these people born in America? Once again, I think we need to determine nationwide qualifications to become an elected official. If it's good enough for the president of the United States, shouldn't it be good enough? Oh, I didn't turn this other light on this whole show. If it's good enough to be president, shouldn't it be the same for Congress and for other elected officials? You need to be born in this country. I don't know. Maybe all these people were. But 3 out of 6 city council in Michigan in Hamtramck under investigation for election rigging. Boo-hiss. I was saying Boo Earns. Currently under investigation for alleged election rigging. That's tough to say. And residency issues. Accusations from a 25 lawsuit and GPS tracking evidence suggesting he doesn't even reside in Hamtramck. Abu Musa, City Council, investigation for election rigging with residency concerns as well. Surveillance video from August 1 showing him allegedly involved in depositing large stacks of ballots days before the primary election. Khalil Rafai, city council, included in the investigation for election rigging with a 25 lawsuit naming him among the 6 council members accused of corruption, though specific evidence against him is less detailed in public records. Mohammed al-Somiri, under investigation for election rigging, part of broader allegations in the 25 lawsuit against all 6 council members with no specific individual evidence. Residency concerns for Mutasin Sadman, investigation for election rigging. Michigan State Police efforts to finalize the findings. No specific public evidence has been released yet. How many of these people were born in America? Should America institute nationwide qualifications? ICATIONS. What did I spell wrong? Qualifications. That to hold public office, you must be born in the USA. If it's good enough for POTUS, it should be good enough for city council. Agree or disagree? All right. Well, there you go. Michigan has been overthrown. We know that. Michigan and Minnesota.
Stay away from.
Yes, this is real, says Amjed Y. A leftist was seen spending her night screaming at the top of her lungs at federal agents. These people are not.
Homeless people, you fascist punks! Stay away from homeless people, you fascist punks! Stay away from homeless people, you fascist punks! Get out! 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 Stay away!
Okay. We said hot take screaming into the ears of another, especially with a megaphone, is assault. Yep. Your performance art. Capital One Arena. Yeah, we waited in line all day. Inauguration weekend to do the Trump rally with the village people and Elon Musk inside that arena. Howdy, John from Facebook. Thanks for being over there. Joey Manarino here. We talked about one little country. Let's talk about huge news no one is talking about out of the beautiful country of Bolivia. Joey Manarino says, for the first time in 2 decades, the Socialist Party has been voted out of power. There will be a runoff election in October to determine who the real final winner is, but the corrupt socialists who have turned that country's economy into a complete failure are gone. The people of Bolivia have a chance to take their country back and elect a right-wing leader. Will they be the next to rise from the ashes like El Salvador has done? Make Bolivia great again. Button. So we shall see. Prayers to Bolivia. All right, let's talk about your city. Are they doing something like this near you? How do we find out?
Does your city have a goal of banning meat by 2030? 14 major American cities are part of a globalist climate organization known as the C40 Climate Leadership Group, which has an ambitious target by the year 2030 of 0 kilograms of meat consumption, 0 kilograms of dairy consumption, 3 new clothing items per year per person, and 0 private vehicles.
I mean, look, you want to put some humans in some cages and just call them slaves? Like, okay, like that's what they're aiming at, it seems.
Nearly 100 cities across the world make up C40, and its American members include Austin, Boston, Chicago,
Austin, Boston, and anything else that rhymes. Schmoston.
Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, New Orleans, New York City, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Portland, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Seattle.
By the way, someone check on Deb from Sacramento. Haven't seen her in a minute. They were talking about San Francisco because I think I said San Francisco once. It reminded me.
Ultimately, the Climate Coalition's goals are inherently anti-human. Banning meat and dairy, restricting calories, and impoverishing the masses will hurt the planet.
And there's music in the background. Doggone it. It'll hurt the planet. It'll harm people. It'll end people, she says. It's like I don't even hear the music in the back of these videos. And then I'm like, oh, I've been listening to this lady talk for 30 seconds. I think there's music here. C40 sounds creepy. I interviewed Rosa Corey. Do you guys know Rosa Corey? Agenda 20. What was it? Agenda 2020. And then she wrote Agenda 2030. Yeah, I interviewed Rosa Corey. She passed away a couple years ago.
On Gruden.
All right. If you're not following this story, keep your eyes peeled. We're talking about the ABC, ESPN, Disney, politics, all the stuff going on behind the scenes. Well, this John Gruden story with the NFL is very interesting. The lawsuit is going to a public trial now.
Beat the NFL in court, and it could end up exposing a lot of the league's darkest secrets. Now, I assume everyone remembers what happened to Gruden. He left ESPN in 2018 to sign a $100 million deal with the Raiders. A series of his emails then leaked in 2021, where he criticized female referees, national anthem protests, and the Rams for drafting Michael Sam. But most importantly, let's just say that Gruden had some not so nice things to say about Roger Goodell. This caused Gruden to resign from the Raiders mid-season, but with $40 million in guaranteed money left on his contract, no one expected that to be the end of it. Gruden and the Raiders actually came to a resolution quite quickly. Within weeks, they signed a settlement that gave Gruden some of the money he was owed in exchange for no legal action. That left the NFL as Gruden's primary target. Everyone knew the emails were bad, but Gruden wanted to know how they got out in the first place. The NFL collected 650,000 emails from its investigation into Washington. Why were Gruden's emails the only ones to leak? And who leaked them?
That was weird.
This is why Gruden filed a lawsuit against the NFL and Roger Goodell just weeks later. No one really expected that this lawsuit would go anywhere because all NFL employees sign a contract that forces any lawsuits into private arbitration. But given that Roger Goodell would be overseeing an arbitration case that directly...
And of course, they gotta have music in the background. I'm just terrified of music in the background because it gets flagged by YouTube. You don't... And I used to think all this music was irrelevant. I would never slap random copyright claims for watching somebody's video and there happens to be something in the background. YouTube disagrees. Directly involved himself in the Nevada Supreme Court, ruled last week it should go to public trial instead. So the NFL could still settle with Gruden before trial, but Gruden has consistently said this isn't about money. He thinks Roger Goodell and the NFL screwed him and he wants to prove it. That means the NFL will now be put through discovery, exposing the league's internal documents, communications, depositions with key figures like Goodell. And there you go. Well then, let's dump everything on the table. Oh, the NFL is probably not going to want this to... Probably not. So keep your eyes peeled on the NFL in this case. I would expect them to settle, but, you know, if they're dumb enough to let it go this far. Don't fear the Reaper. Ever tell you guys my cowbell story with Blue Oyster Cult? Short version. In Anaheim, I saw Blue Oyster Cult perform. And I was backstage, and they had a cowbell right there. They had their cowbell right there on the table. And we had some food, and I dined with the cowbell in Anaheim with Blue Oyster Cult. Don't fear the Reaper. Don't fear the music. All right. History's worst ideas tie back to Charles Darwin.
I don't know if you know this yet, but most stupid ideas in the 21st century come from Darwin.
Seth Gruber official. What do you think?
Okay. Darwin was influenced by Thomas Malthus, who was the first overpopulationist. There's too many people on planet Earth. Darwin's half cousin.
And they've been pushing that too many people, Earth is overpopulated everywhere. All the Earth Day stuff from the 90s and Captain Planet and too many people. We need more abortions and no families and stop having kids. Like, this has been 3 decades of brainwashing from the Marxists who have been in charge of our education indoctrination system. Oh my gosh, now we don't have enough Americans to pay into the Ponzi scheme. Oh, I guess we screwed up. We need to open up the border and flood it with 30 million people to pay into the Ponzi scheme. How about we have 30 million American kids with American values? American, you're talking in code. You know what that really means. No, I mean people that believe in the concepts of America, that don't want to, replace American values with, I don't know, some religious zealotry that is incompatible with our civil liberties. Something like that.
President Francis Galton coined the term eugenics and took his cousin's Darwin's writings and said, we should apply that to human beings. Then Galton influenced and mentored a man named Havelock Ellis, who was the Alfred Kinsey of England. Havelock Ellis hosted orgies in his home and forced his wife to watch him. And then in 1914, a young woman named...
All right, we got music playing. I'm going to dump on it. But then there's Margaret Sanger, who had just broken the obscenity laws in New York City and being threatened with arrest. Shipped her kids off to be raised by friends, her socialist friends in New York labor movement, forged her a passport, went to England. The first Kamala Harris slept up the levers of power. All right, there's a lot to read and it's moving fast, but it's about Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger's entire ideology, tracing straight back to some of Charles Darwin's dumbest ideas. In the comments are like, this should be mandatory teaching for every church, powerful information, facts, etc. So check that out. It had music in the background, so I got to bounce. Gavin Newsom, not much going on in the background there. This guy is a sociopath, and nobody likes you.
This is not no do-over. This is it.
More music. There's no do-over in this country. This is it. We got to get it done. Look, riots and fires. Gavin will try anything. I'm just trying to break through, man. I'm just trying to be accountable. All these junkies on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Just junkies sprawled out everywhere. Like, this is okay. This is madness. He's going to say, I did everything I could to the kids. And look, there he is filling in the skate parks during COVID for no reason. Look at these preschool kids forced to mask up in this garbage. Palisades burned to a crisp.
Fake breaks.
I can't play California Dreamin', but you get the point. That's their leadership. That's why Democrats should never be trusted. Either incompetent or demonic. It's hard to tell which. In fact, Chad Bianco has a message to Gavin Newsom, Riverside Sheriff and gubernatorial candidate.
Expose you for the complete fraud that you are, the liar that you are, and you will never, ever be the president of this country. You will never do to the rest of the country what you have done to California. California's problems are completely caused by California government. We have the greatest businesses, we have the greatest people, we have the greatest business minds, the greatest innovators, the greatest creators, the greatest entrepreneurs in the country. We have the fourth largest economy that is artificially propped up to be something good. And the thing that is preventing us from being great, from achieving that California dream that that I came here for, the only thing preventing us is government. Government has its boot on our backs, keeping us down with over-regulation, activism, appeasement of activists, instead of taking care of the majority of Californians as a whole. And it's an agenda. It is a complete agenda of making sure that government is in control of all of our lives instead of us being in control of government. And so
it really is a philosophy shift.
Only reason I'm doing this is to restore that balance. The balance is supposed to be that government is supposed to be working for us. We are not supposed to be working to increase the size of government.
So if this guy's running against Gavin Newsom, I'll tell you what, I would be absolutely A-okay replacing him with Riverside County Sheriff, gubernatorial candidate, Chad Bianco. I really just couldn't fathom a universe where you allow Democrats to stay in charge of California. And look, if you get rid of the mail-in voting and some of the shady, suspicious stuff, maybe a Democrat will never win anything ever again. Is it possible? I'd say it's possible. I can't think of many people that like them. I don't know who has faith in that group. So, good luck, California. I feel like most cities across the country, if you just clean up the voting process, you'll almost never see any Democrats elected again. I think they've figured out how to rig the big cities. And then they figured, you know what? We've had the cities on lockdown for 60, 80 years. Let's try to take over the country. I think that's what they did in 2020. I think they got... Anyway. All right, here. I want to get your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree? I need your thoughts on this. All right, let's wind up and ask. Do you agree or disagree with Kimberly Parker Tamlin Vesper? Kimberly Parker Tamlin Vesper says using big words is another form of white supremacy. Blacks who live in urban areas don't have the same access to education as whites. This makes them less smart. If you feel the need to communicate like you are a thesaurus, you are probably a white supremacist. That is a lot to unpack. James Woods responds to Kimberly Parker Tamlin Vesper. The thesis you postulate reeks of an indigenous or otherwise intrinsic subordinate mindset, likely cultivated by a confluence of mandated educational protocols, inculcated during your evolution and most vulnerable formative years. Just saying. There's so much to unpack here. My first thought on this, anyone else get the vibe that the Kimberly Parker Tamlin Vesper, it's a fake person, it's a fake account? Like, nobody could really believe that, right? If you communicate using cool words, it makes you a white supremacist. Like, that's not even remotely plausible, right? It's so hard to tell fact from fiction these days. I don't even know if what I'm looking at is a parody, if it's a skit, or if it's reality. And that's a strange indictment on the planet that we live on. But that was my thought. Oh, that just cracked me up. Using big words is white supremacy. You know, breathing is white supremacy. Drinking water. But yeah. We put it in the TNAM humor section. This post has too much to unpack in a sentence or two. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's take a look over on our X feed. Make sure you're following us at American_media_. Right there, pinned on our page, our conversation with Mr. John B. Wells on the Agree to Disagree show. Talking God, Trump, Biden, Deep State, and World War III. That is our Patreon link if anyone wants to sign up to do like the $10 or $15 a month thing, or $100 a month, or $1,000 a month. You're all appreciated. A couple angel investors could definitely, you know, it all counts. It all really counts. It all adds up and it all really matters. So thank you. All right, Real Robert here showed. This is Roseanne saying they gave us COVID so we'd send in mail order ballots. They overthrew the U.S. They overthrew the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America, and then they covered it up with the January 6th bullshit. Let me put this on the screen here for countervailing views. I say this to you under duress because YouTube, Instagram, Meta, Facebook, they want me to tell you, you need to go get giggity. You need to go get countervailing views on health and elections at cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. Because they'll tell you, no, nothing weird about the COVID thing and nothing weird about the 2020 election. They would say people like Roseanne are off their rocker. They need you. You must consider their countervailing views. But you're not supposed to consider hers. Under extreme duress, I give you that disclaimer. All right, Libs of TikTok here says it's time to get rid of mail-in ballots. Democrats can't win without cheating. Do you agree or disagree? Democrats cannot win another election in America without cheating. Agree or disagree? And I guess there might be a couple of places that might still vote that way. I just couldn't imagine many of them. I would agree with that. President Trump says, I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. And also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. We are now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. That can't be true. Can it? We can't be the only country using mail-in voting. We shouldn't have it at all. I don't trust it at all. No, I want you going to prove who you are, prove that you have qualifications to get a ballot, and you vote in person and you go. You don't get to vote more than once, and you don't leave drop boxes unattended for days and days and weeks and weeks. No way. But curious, can anyone do a fact check? Are we the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting? That doesn't seem right. But I would never do it. All other countries gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered. By the way, how much of that voter fraud? Marion agrees. David agrees. Lake Leon agrees. Everyone's agreeing. Yes. They have like a 19% approval rating. It's just awful. And I know we've all lost some friends and family out of our lives that we don't even talk to anymore. They're just off the reservation on these things. All right. President Trump says all others gave up mail-in voting because of the massive voter fraud encountered. We will begin the effort, which will be strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels never seen before, by signing an executive order to help bring honesty to the 26 midterm elections. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating the votes. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them for the good of our country to do. With their horrible radical left policies like open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender and woke for everyone, and so much more, Democrats are virtually unelectable without using this completely disproven mail-in scam. Elections can never be honest with the mail-in ballots and voting. And everybody, in particular the Democrats, knows this. And I and the Republican Party will fight like hell to bring honesty and integrity back to our elections. The mail-in ballot hoax using voting machines that are a complete and total disaster must end now. Remember, without fair and honest elections and strong and powerful borders, you don't even have a semblance of a country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Do you agree or disagree with President Trump? Ballots that don't have watermarks? Are you kidding me? Barcode or scanned or watermarks or something like, are you kidding me? I don't trust anything about that in general. None of the machines. You can't run proper audits on them to my satisfaction. And whether they're legit or not, we don't have the ability to run a full forensic audit in a manner that makes us have comfort in knowing that none of these machines even have the capability of going online. Because a lot of them do. Look, I'm not getting into the specifics of the voting machines or any particular company. I don't trust any of it. And I don't have to prove a reason to you why I don't trust it. I want someone to show an ID, get handed a verified watermarked piece of paper, walk 3 steps, put 1 piece of paper into a tally box and walk out. That's the security I demand from an election. No machines doing God knows what with whatever totals we get at the end of it all. And no way are you going to get something mailed to you that you can mail back or photocopy and things you can run through the machine more than once. No, I'm not doing it. I'm never doing it again. I didn't like almost anything about these nationwide policies in 2020. It's time we fix them. That's what I say. Agree. Also angry. Agree and angry. Mail-in voting means no chicks. No, not M-A-L-E. It's M-A-I-L. It wasn't like female-in voting. Nice try, though. All right, Sage, ML Football says NFL star Lamar Jackson is under heavy criticism for reposting a post from a right-wing political personality, Charlie Kirk. Right-wing political person. Why wouldn't you be under heavy criticism for sharing something from a left-wing political personality? They're the ones that don't make sense and don't have the support of the public. Lamar Jackson has taken serious heat from the Ravens and other fans across the league. Charlie Kirk says it's all about Jesus. Sage Steele, formerly of ESPN, says, is this the point we've come to? Criticizing someone because of their religious beliefs? Just stop. Stay strong and keep being an example for so many in Baltimore and beyond. Yeah, I don't like the Baltimore Ravens, but I do support the Louisville guy. Imagine being mad at somebody because of that. All right, watch this video. Steve says, I completely agree with how the cashier handled this. Do you? Can you see the full thing? Guy's working. That dude was hit. I'd like an update on this. Does it say in the comments what happened? Grok, what happened to the attempted PTED robbers? That's how you do it. You got to defend yourself. People with guns come at you. You better be ready. So yeah, Benny Johnson, President Trump announced his movement to end mail-in ballots and inaccurate voting machines nationwide. Whether they are inaccurate or not, I don't trust them. And most of you don't trust them. And we couldn't possibly have enough of the forensic audits, the full forensic audits, to trust what we're looking at. And if you can't prove to me that we should trust you, I'm not going to. We asked you yesterday on Saturday, was it the most gangster move ever by an American president? Trump flies the stealth bomber over Putin in Alaska. We played that for you a couple days ago. There you go. Voting machines. Yeah, this is the point I was starting to get to. I didn't finish making my point. Let me side by side this. Does this mean that the whole global system is rigged? How much of the voting all over the planet is a scam? I mean, is it the deep state putting people in that are going to abuse their citizens and steal as much as they can? Natural resources, so rich benefactors can loot and plunder as much as possible. Just a bunch of pirates? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired of the craziness. I see a lot of bad people from Canada to the UK and beyond. People that do not represent the citizens of those sovereign nations. And I want those nations to become as great as possible. Kylie Jane Kremer says Democrats and rhinos know that they can't win without mail-in ballots and rigged machines. That's why they scream when Trump calls out their scam, or why they don't lift a finger to help with election integrity. Time to fight like hell for 2026. Pretty fair point, I think. President Trump has the feds out talking to people, telling them not to smoke and drink outside. Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside, because Donald Trump's tired of it.
Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like Code 3, anything like that people are putting up. All right. So yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together for 7 days and going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law, so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies of somebody, there's shooting and things like that. So there's extra hands available, all right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up at the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand. I didn't flashlight you, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting chippy with me. All right, so just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo, everybody's out, from FBI to park police. Right? So do your thing. Let them know. Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside, because Donald Trump is tired of it. People come to visit.
I didn't know that.
Donald Trump's tired of it.
You didn't know smoking in public?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the restable
Because
offense.
they're learning it's recreational use, so I didn't know.
Yeah, so DC, it's recreational use as well, right? But you can legally possess up to 2 ounces. You can gift an ounce to your boy, right? So if you had 2 ounces and he said he needed a zip, you can give him a zip, but you can't smoke outside. You don't.
Huh. Can't smoke outside. All right. Is this Harry Enton? Yep, Harry Enton, one of the most interesting things on CNN. Talking about smoking and drinking, Scott Adams says smoking and drinking are historic lows, but all-cause mortality is up? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I mean, my goodness gracious, this is a huge decline. Americans who drink alcohol, we are looking at the lowest level since the 1930s. What are we talking about? Just 54% on occasion Americans say that they drink alcohol. That's down from 4 points last year. That's down from 62% in 2023. And it is way down from the record high the last.
Okay, but don't go down all the way to 78. Tell me about 22, 21, 20, 19, 8. Go, like, let me see over the years. Don't just skip 40 years.
Sure that happened when it was 71% back in 1978. This record low is being driven by younger folks and Republicans as well, as they increasingly view the idea of drinking.
Don't call it 1978
as an unhealthy habit.
The poll also asked about smoking. What did that show?
Yeah, same exact idea. Turns out we're giving up our vices a little bit. What are we talking about? Smoked a cigarette in the last week. Look at this in 20.
Have any of you been former smokers who are now non-smokers? Smoked a cigarette in the last week. 2025 is tied for the lowest on record.
25, just 11%. A decade ago, it was 19%. 2 decades ago, 25%. You look back 1974, about 50 years ago, it was 40%. What is that? That's 1/4 the level. My goodness gracious. And again, younger folks are the ones who are saying that they are smoking.
Even including e-cigarettes.
Less, and even when you combine in e-cigarettes, we're still looking at considerably lower levels than we have in past decades.
People watching are also going to see this tab.
And yeah, you kind of sum that up, Kenneth. Yeah, cigarettes, nicotine, vape pens. You know, there's different things people have kind of switched to as weed and vape and stuff went up. cigarettes and booze went
And
down.
you're saying that people are giving up vices, and you think sex is a vice?
I'm not saying that sex is a vice. According to some people, perhaps it's a vice. It is not a vice according to the Harry Enton school of thought. But
Look at her face. She got weirded out by that. She's got weird facial expressions, by the way. She's like, Look at him going, hey.
perhaps it's a vice. It is not a vice according to the Harry Enton school of thought. But bow chickie wow wow going down. What are we talking about?
Bow chickie wow wow going. Look at, she's covering up her face. She can't even.
Bow chickie wow wow going down. What are we talking about? No sex at all in the last year.
Oh my God, no sex at all in the last year. What?
It's off on the side, laughing it up.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not laughing.
She's doing something.
Sure.
She's not even sure.
I'm blushing.
Whoa. Adults, 18% in the 90s said they didn't have sex at all in the previous year. In 2024, 28% of adults, 1 in 3, said they did not have sex at all in the last year. (18 to 21) in the 90s, 24% did not. And now last year, 1 in 2, half did not.
Under all of this makeup.
She's blushing. There we go. In the 1990s, among all adults, no sex at all in the last year was 18%. In 2024, look at that, no sex at all. Up again, 10 points. Look at here, those 18 to 21. Look at that, 24% in the 1990s. It's the young.
Don't say the 1990s. That feels so old.
Younger folks who are getting up sex. Look at that percentage. Doubled no sex in the last year. Maybe they do need a little bit of alcohol. Maybe those two are related.
I have so many things I could say.
Maybe they do need a little alcohol. Maybe those two things are related. I mean, let him cook.
And I'm going to keep my job today. Jessica.
Going to keep my job. Oh, come on. People want to have fun with these topics. Have fun. All right. So we asked a question. Do you agree or disagree with the National Guard helping DC clean up their mess of a city? Vote on X. If you're on X, can you go vote in our poll? Scroll down right underneath that story and vote on this. And we said some might call this a push poll. Well, have you been to DC lately? Any big blue city? Wouldn't less filth and less crime be better? Yep, it's a push poll. Now push, please. So please vote on that. Residents are outraged their water will be given to a new Amazon 290-acre data center in Tucson, Arizona. You're not going to believe this. Sitting on city council is the woman who worked on Meta's data center team for the last 6 years. Now she approves giving away residents' water to this new data center. They always put their people right where they need them to approve their projects. But readers added context, Tucson City Council unanimously rejected the Amazon data center, codename Project Blue. But it's a battle. Data center wars will begin. Health Rangers warning. The only way to preserve enough terawatt hours to power the data centers is to achieve massive depopulation across the U.S. to the tune of at least 100 million gone. You can hear his power grid analysis and depopulation warnings on his Health Ranger channel. But, or you need 4th generation nuclear or advancements in solar. I don't think it's necessarily all doom and gloom. Ron DeSantis is telling people to banish property taxes. I'm all for that.
From the property tax situation. It's very important given how that's pinched so many homeowners, particularly our senior citizens who have their homes paid off and they bought it 30 years ago for a certain amount. Now they're being told it's worth so much more and they have to pony up more and more money. It's almost like they have to pay rent to the government just to be able to enjoy their property. And that's wrong. And we need to do something about it.
Agree. Oh, yeah, that was in case you missed it in Boston. An off-duty cop stopped a dude from plunging sharp things into people inside a Boston Chick-fil-A. But the mayor, Michelle Wu, gave condolences to the attacker's family. No praise for the officer or comfort for the victims. Just sympathy for the criminal. Liberalism is suicide. Suicide. Can't say that word. DC Drano reminds us to make no mistake about it, DEI, CRT, and everything woke leads to this, violence and hatred against white people. That's ultimately what they want. They're finally saying the quiet part out loud. This is an older video, but take a listen.
And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to...
The only conclusion that this guy came to was to exterminate.
Exterminate white people off...
I don't think this is a skit.
...the face of the planet to solve this problem.
I'm sorry, there's a couple of people clapping.
Now, I don't care whether you clap or not, but I'm saying to you that we need to solve this.
Kamau Kambaon, author and owner of Blacknificent Books.
Problem, because they are going to kill us. And I will leave on that. So we have to just set up our own system.
Yeah, you can leave on that, all right.
And stop playing and get very serious.
Oh, I think I stopped playing when you said you want to exterminate me, punk.
And not be diverted. And the one idea...
No, I'm not going to be diverted. I've never heard something so fucked up before. That's the Obama doctrine at play. Divisive, 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 divide, 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 rile everybody up, and make them hate, as DC Drano says, white people. That's their plan. Flood every sovereign nation with non-white people. Who the fuck came up with this idea? Why are we tolerating any of this? They thought, oh, we could be shamed enough for things we didn't do to people that weren't them to sit down and shut up and just let this continue, let this stuff happen. It is a toxin. It is poison that these radical Marxists have flooded into humanity, caused brain damage into enough people where they would say something so ignorant and fucked up as what that guy just said. And to have a couple of people clapping, are you out of your fucking minds? He used the F-bomb. Yeah, that dude said that I should be eradicated, exterminated. Exterminated. Off the face of the planet. Well, forgive me if that triggered some of my fight or flight, do or die. What do they say in Pulp Fiction? If self-preservation is an instinct that you possess, well, you better do what I say when I say. Well, yeah, self-preservation is an instinct that I possess. And it's why I've dedicated 14 years of my life with the New American Media to fighting Obama's bullshit. Not saying that he's reading an Obama script, but he is. Oh, yeah. Reverend Jeremiah writes, the William Ayers, the domestic terrorists, the global intifada. Oh, there's all scrambled together. All scrambled together. What a toxic mess of sludge it's become. James Fishback says, for every $1 the Federal Reserve employees donate, 97 cents go to Democrats. For every one Republican economist at the Fed, there are 10 Democrat economists. Fed Chair Jerome Powell has refused to lower interest rates since Trump took office. Gee, I wonder why. Matt Van Swole asks, have you ever lost a friend because they found out you supported President Trump? Oh, yeah. 3 times. Scott Adams says, based on the comments, it seems fair to conclude the fake news and Democrats destroyed American families and social networks like nothing we've ever seen. Straight up domestic terrorism. They've tried to destroy the fabric of our nation. Shame on them. Never again for a Democrat. A man of memes here shares this. GOP lawmakers sent a letter to Tim Walz about fraud taking place in Minnesota. ABC News is looking into this and found documented fraud. ABC News, whoa.
We are following
ABC, ESPN, Disney's allowed to tell the truth now?
The fraud. I'm investigative reporter Ryan Raish. A lot has been said about the $1 billion that U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson said we may exceed when their investigations are all done. But we are tracking the money right now. Here's what we know exists. The Feeding Our Future scam, at least $300 million in fraud, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Then just last week, we heard about this, the housing stabilization fraud. 9 million so far, but that is expected to go up because it's just getting started. And the same goes for the Autism Center investigation. So far, at least $20 million documented in fraud. That's the accusation. That number also expected to rise because these investigations are just getting going. Click on the link in bio. We're breaking it all down.
We are being robbed to fund people to destroy us. Make no mistake about it. Libs of TikTok says, how many states are allowing illegal aliens to get driver's license? 19 states. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington. All the backward states. All the backward states. You saw that horrific crash. I'll scroll down. I think it's coming up here in the stack. C3 asks us, I'll get back to this story with the illegal alien drivers. C3 says, hey, here's a reminder. They gave Barack Hussein Obama a Nobel Peace Prize for drone striking a wedding that killed innocent women and children, and another drone strike that killed American citizens. And they're attacking Trump for trying to create real peace. Everything was a scam. Yeah, this one was getting some attention here. Steve Ferguson says, and just like that, the AutoPen story vanished. What happened? We said pointless investigations, hearings, and bloviating. That's what happened, Steve Ferguson. Republicans yap and never get the bad guys, almost like they have no interest in survival. These deep state Dems have gone off the deep end and need to be arrested already. Roger Stone. All right, Gary Kasparov says it's delusional and disgusting because the only person in the world who could end the war immediately is Vladimir Putin. Second on the list would be the President of the United States if he cared enough to put maximum pressure on Russia with sanctions and overwhelming arms to Ukraine. Roger Stone says Ukraine joining NATO would be a violation of the Budapest Memorandum and the Minsk Accords, both agreed to by the United States. Bloodthirsty war profiteers like you and the swine that you quote here can shove it up your ass, says Roger Stone. That escalated quickly. Steve Ferguson said several months ago, Doge discovered who stole 400,000 social security numbers. Elon said there was going to be an arrest the next day. It's August 17th and there still hasn't been an arrest. Why not, Bondi? Kentucky Girl says, is this still being investigated, Pam Bondi? What's the status? Is anything happening? We the people are getting frustrated. Agreed. Rob Schneider says, if Nixon's wiretapping was a crime, why was it a crime for me to wiretap Democrats at Watergate, but it wasn't a crime for Obama to wiretap Republicans at Trump Tower? Agreed. Today in 1945, maybe yesterday, George Orwell published a devastating critique of communism called Animal Farm, revealing why every communist revolution follows the same tragic pattern: liberation to corruption to oppression. M2 says, deport all of these rhinos now identified as undocumented Democrats. McConnell, McCarthy, Sass, Cassidy, Collins, Romney, Murkowski, Burr, Tomey. Goodbye. Based Bandita said a video is going around of a man beating up 5 women who tried to jump his wife. Most of the women are sharing it, saying he should go to prison because men should never step into a girls' fight. Men, if 5 women jumped your wife, would you jump in? What do you say? Agree or disagree? If 5 women jumped your wife, I would jump in. Agree or disagree? Yeah, of course. You're not going to let your lady get beat up. No way. Nobody does that. Jenny McCarthy here in this video says the government launched a smear campaign against her for sharing her son's V injury story. I'd gotten a visit from someone who has his own PR agency, and he said, I've been approached by a government agency to discredit you. I met Jenny McCarthy once while working at the talent agency. To be specific, she walked out of an elevator and walked right past us. I didn't say anything. As he walked, my buddy literally was holding something and held up his hand and go, whoa. Like as she was walking past, pointed and said, whoa. Lake Leon says, agree. Don't mess with family. What is this? 2 out of these 3 have eliminated political opponents or canceled elections. The one who hasn't is who the media calls a dictator. All they do is lie. Is that Macron and Putin? Is that what's going on there? Council took down flags and someone put them back. In Birmingham, the council removed British flags because they were dangerous. Locals responded by putting them back up and adding more. The British are no longer complying with communist rule. Britain has been overthrown. What is that civil war? What is that revolutionary war going to look like to restore their nation? This guy has thoughts on what triggered what's going on in D.C.
Hey, make sure y'all understand this too. I forgot to talk about this. The last straw for Trump to trigger all this stuff that's going on in D.C. was a 3-year-old black girl getting killed. And y'all say he targeted black people, but the last straw was a 3-year-old black girl getting killed.
So the 3-year-old black girl getting killed, he's saying, was the straw that broke the camel's back. I thought it was big balls and the carjacking, but I mean, there's been a lot of unfortunate, unnecessary, disgusting crime.
Y'all care more about hating him than kids. Crazy.
You care more about hating Trump than protecting kids. Sam E. Antar says this is why the IRS must investigate the tax-exempt syndicate that weaponized Mamdani's campaign. Days after winning, Zoran Mamdani told NBC, I don't think we should have billionaires. Oh, our investigations reveal that his grassroots revolution was actually backed by a $2 billion tax-exempt syndicate, raising serious IRS compliance questions. Mamdani is merely a product of the syndicate. The coordinated infrastructure that manufactured his political rise operates continuously, creating candidates while maintaining the illusion of grassroots democracy. There you go. All 32 teams will again this year be forced to stencil a social justice message in their end zones. They must choose from the following options. End racism. You know what that means. Oh, sorry. End racism. Some people think only some people can be racist and other groups can't. Stop hate. Well, some people say it's only one group that hates. Choose love. Okay. Inspire change. What kind of change? Exactly. It takes all of us to do what? I don't know. Adam Carolla says anyone who thinks this will make a difference must have CTE. Here you go. John Solomon reporting a Democrat whistleblower is implicated. Eric Swalwell, he or she attended a meeting with Adam Schiff, who okayed the leaking of classified info to dirty up Trump. Swalwell was in on it, and he's going down for this, too. Alex says a Sunday bombshell. Trump Task Force Department of Justice head Ed Martin says he's been unleashed to indict the deep state. Plus, Zelensky comes to Washington in hopes of saving World War III. We shall see. Health Ranger once again posting some graphs about data centers and humans. Talking about depopulation. The streets are talking about a third term for Trump.
Should Trump run for a third term?
I would like Trump to be the dictator of this motherfucker. I like that white man. Y'all think it's a joke.
Man, Trump should run for a 5th term, a 6th term. He should run a marathon. I don't know. He should run for everything, man. He should run for a top 5 rappers that are alive. I don't know. Donald Trump should run for everything, man. I think if Donald Trump had an ice cream truck company, it'd be the best ice cream truck company in the world. Whatever he does, whatever he puts his hand on, it turns into gold.
Do you think Trump should run for a third term?
Man, Trump needs to run for 100 terms.
Why?
He keeping us safe. He got on lockdown. Ain't nobody gonna with us as long as Big Trump in the office. You talking about?
Should Trump run for a third term?
No, he shouldn't run for a third term. He should just be president for life.
Why?
Because we need a dictator. We need somebody like Trump who doesn't give a and does whatever he wants and puts the American people first. I know that the economy is booming. I know that illegal immigration is at an all-time low. I know that businesses are thriving. I know that the streets are cleaned up. And I know that America is being restored to its most prosperous state, which it was, not anymore, but now it is again. So yeah, I think he should be allowed to just stay in office.
Do you think Trump should run for a third term?
Absolutely. If he can, I hope he can run for 5 terms. All I know is I get up every single day. I don't prefer listening to the news. Every single time I turn on the radio, bad news, bad news, bad news, stupid dog from Biden. And now if I turn it on for 5 minutes, all I hear is one more great thing, one more great thing, one more great thing. And then I go to NPR for a few minutes when the commercials come on. Trump is a danger to democracy. It's like the most ridiculous clown-ass bullshit you ever heard.
There you have it. The streets are talking. Brooke Goldstein got out of Gaza, filming with the Gaza Humanitarian Aid Foundation. Everything you hear about them in the MSM is false. I don't know. How can you tell? I need to blur out the faces because Hamas hunts and offs the workers giving aid and food to the Gazan people. Food is Hamas's weapon, and GHF is the disruptor, they say. Victor Davis Hanson declares the Democrat Party has officially, well, in his words, let's hear it. It's so true.
I do think it's collapsed because the
Democrat Party has collapsed.
A classical definition, Mark, they lost the 2024 popular vote, the Electoral College vote. They don't have the Congress. They don't have the White House. They don't have the Supreme Court. They're 30-70 on the 30 side of all these issues from crime, the environment, energy, the border, illegal immigration. And they're frustrated. They're angry because now Donald Trump is doing something they never imagined anybody would do. He's not treating the symptoms of the progressive pathology. He's talking about the sources. So he's going after the institutions that indoctrinate people in the university, NPR, PBS, the elite law firms, and that's setting them on fire because they understand that they always exercise power irrelevant of whether they actually had political power. They had cultural, social influence through these institutions, foundations, the university, K through 12, corporate boardrooms. And now when he went after woke and ESG and PBS, it's a whole new counter-revolution, and they're melting down. I don't even think there is a Democratic Party right now. It's just an amalgamation of a bunch of different groups, but they're all way to the left. And we shouldn't fool ourselves about New York, Mark. I think it's not going to be. They may win. Mondami may win, but he couldn't win anywhere else, I don't think, other than these blue cities, and that's a minority of the population. So they're going over the cliff, and like any addict, they would rather go over the cliff than quit.
I agree.
I do think it's collapsed because
I like his takes. All right. Yeah, MJ Truth Ultra says we need laws passed that prevents foreigners from running for office. Need laws passed that says second generation or beyond children of foreigners can run for office. How the hell do we end up with nothing but Muslim foreigners running entire city councils? One of them was literally busted for stuffing ballot boxes, says MJ Truth Ultra. That's an overthrow. There's a lot of videos of people saying the goal is to conquest. We're not coming here because we like your country. We're going to take over. We're going to outbreed you. We're going to take over government. A global caliphate. We will take this everywhere. Sharia law for everyone. No thanks. Nova Scotia. Hey, how close is that to David Bann? Question for you. Because when I lived in Los Angeles, I'd be like, oh, I'm from Ohio. And they'd be like, oh, do you know Jimmy? I'm like, buddy, we have like the 4th most electoral college votes. We're kind of a big deal. I don't know Jimmy. Also, sometimes I did know Jimmy. How close is Nova Scotia? It's a big country. Anyway, this story here from the Halifax Examiner. Nova Scotia has approved glyphosate spraying on 3,500 acres of drought-stricken, fire-prone forest. What? Health Ranger says Canada is controlled by globalists and they're running human extermination agenda. Agent Orange, by the way, is a mixture of glyphosate and 2,4-D exfoliants. They're designed to off the ecosystem. Good God, and leave humans poisoned and starving. Wow. Have you heard of this? David, what the heck is going on up there, buddy? You're my Canada contact. Oh, okay. Glyphosate is a common weed killer approved for domestic use, unrelated to Agent Orange, which is a mix of equal parts of two herbicides, 2,4,5-T and 2,4-D. It is a defoliant, not an exfoliant. Mike Adams has a history of promoting unfounded theories. There you go. Red Pill Dispenser says the Amish basically have...
They're having 10 plus kids and they're incredibly happy.
They're having 10 plus kids. They're incredibly happy. They staved off a lot of health issues. They only have a 4% obesity rate, while it's 42% elsewhere. Highest fertility in the world. Doubling every 20 years. We need to be learning from them more. Huh. Okay. Who wants to go Amish? Rasmussen says Grok is worthless for political topics and it repeats lies. They're saying there were extensive audits and court rulings and fact checks from diverse sources, finding no widespread evidence of fraud sufficient to alter outcomes. No, there weren't court rulings. The courts didn't ever take it up. They said they didn't have standing. It was never, and we didn't have the ability to run a full forensic audit. They said it was proprietary. Yeah, Grok is hallucinating here, big time, about the validity of 2020. The hell is this? Harvard Magazine says abolish the white race. USC professor calls for Holocaust against all white people. Mute it. Professor behind a white genocide tweet says that he has university support. Rutgers lecturer tweeted about shooting white people. From the Washington Post, Rutgers professor on white people, we got to take these MFers out. This goes on and on for two minutes. The general says, should white people in America have a class action lawsuit against the universities who promoted white hate? Yes. Yes. Roger Stone says declassified documents prove the DNC was not the target of an online hack by the Russians or anyone else, but Judge Amy Berman Jackson would not let me call expert witnesses or forensic evidence to prove it. Bombshell DNI emails exposed fraud that sabotaged the 2018 Trump-Putin summit. Andy No says a woke BLM activist in Massachusetts school librarian was arrested by the feds for alleged child-esque crimes. Found at the home in a locked suitcase, a Santa suit, diapers, diaper cream, and children's underwear. Oh, God bless America. That's so gross. Well, look, I think I'm going to change my thought here. Does your rewarding terrorists also apply to Putin keeping land in Ukraine after they attacked their neighbor? Similar to Hamas attacking their neighbor, right? You don't want to reward that type of stuff, right? Here's President Trump in his own words.
Is there any use at all in pressuring Israel now to come to some sort of longer-term solution?
Well, you could make the case that you're rewarding people, that, you're rewarding Hamas if you do that. And I don't think they should be rewarded. So I'm not in that camp, to be honest. We'll let you know where we are, but I am not in that camp.
Mr. President,
because if you do that, you really are rewarding Hamas. and I'm not about to do that.
Is there any use of...
It's just interesting to me trying to, with the dichotomy of rewarding Hamas versus rewarding Putin. I'm here for it. I'll hear that conversation. Where does that make sense to you? And where am I off on comparing the Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine thing? David saying a lot of the government belongs to the World Economic Forum and most of the rest are just criminals trying to make money. I know. Okay, what is this? Fox News is showing Dearborn, Michigan. They're yelling death to America. Laura Loomer calls on every single member of Congress to inquire with the U.S. State Department which State Department employees endanger the safety of U.S. citizens by signing off on visas for people from Gaza. The domestic terrorist Democrat Congressman Rashida Tlaib, currently serving in the U.S. Congress, refuses to denounce his Gazan constituents, chanting that on American soil.
Not a great look. The mayor condemned it. The White House condemned it. But what about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib? She reps Dearborn. Is she okay with her constituents chanting death to America? Fox Business correspondent Hillary Vaughn asked her. Watch.
Congresswoman Tlaib.
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
At a rally in your district, people were chanting death.
I'm an angry little troll. I don't talk to Fox News.
Congresswoman Tlaib.
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
At a rally in your district, people were chanting death to America. Do you condemn?
Talk to Fox News.
But do you condemn chants of death to America?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
You don't talk to yourself?
Why can't you just say whether or not you condemn people chanting death to America? Why are you afraid to talk to Fox?
Fox News is not listen, using racist tropes towards my community is what Fox News is about, and I don't talk to Fox News.
Is death to America racist?
Fox News.
Is chanting death to America racist?
I'm talking about your guys' racist tropes. You know, you guys know exactly what you do. And I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys got to go deal with it on your own self. You're not going to use me.
There you have it. Dearborn, Michigan, people. World Economic Forum named BlackRock's Larry Fink as its new chairman. Fink. Rat Fink. A Rat Fink is running WF. Is this a simulation winking at us? The Fink wink? Giving us a wink, a Fink wink? Mike Netter's accusing Gavin Newsom of sending $300K to his wife's NGO from PG&E, which he awarded $700K after waiving a $200 million fine for the wildfires it caused. That's a lot of accusations. I don't know about that. Kellogg says it'll stop poisoning children's cereal with artificial dyes by 2027, but doesn't that make it absolutely mind-boggling? They acknowledge they're poisoning Americans and still expect people to buy their product for 2 more years? Yeah. Wall Street Ape says 3 separate FBI agencies all came to the same conclusion. Hillary Clinton was running a massive bribery scheme with foreign governments and foreign businesses. Quote, Hillary Clinton ran a pay-for-play scheme that delivered favors from her purchase Secretary of State, while foreigners and others paid large sums of money to her family foundation, the Clinton Foundation, run by Bill Clinton and their daughter, eventually, Chelsea Clinton. These separate agencies, 3 separate bureaus, offices of the FBI believe they had predicated evidence to pursue that. Hillary Clinton was selling out America for hundreds of millions of dollars in personal gains. Not a very well-written thing there. All right. What else? Secretary of State Marco Rubio halted all visitor visas from Gaza. All visitor visas for individuals from Gaza are being stopped while we conduct a full and thorough review of the process and procedures used to issue a small number of temporary medical humanitarian visas in recent days. I mean, what are you doing? Laura Loomer says every single American who is America First is freaking out about this. No sane American wants Gazans coming into our country. America is not the world's hospital. There are 56 Muslim countries in the world. They all have hospitals. The media demonizes my contact with the administration every day when I'm breaking stories that help the American people. President Trump is lucky he has me looking out for his admin and breaking stories. How come nobody else that works with him and his admin figured this out? How come none of his other staff blew the whistle on Gazans coming into our country? Do we really want to go there? MJ Truth Ultra says a storm is brewing. West Virginia, South Carolina, and Ohio are sending National Guard troops to assist in Washington, D.C. So let me get this straight. Trump sends in the D.C. National Guard, takes over MPD, immediately announces he wants access to the Smithsonian Museum. The Secret Service announced residents could hear simulated gunfire. And now West Virginia, South Carolina, and Ohio are sending National Guard troops to D.C. And they just announced they'll be carrying weapons. Lots of spicy things lining up. I don't know. Are things getting close? All right, another CNN poll. I like these.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What?
Messier than a hoarder's basement.
What are we talking about?
Why do I feel personally attacked?
About here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democratic race for president who's polling at 25% plus.
Because the party's polling at 19%. Nobody likes them. If you took away the suspicious votes from last election, I bet you the Democrats would be roughly 19%.
The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think? Is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on, is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind.
Garbage. By the way, now you're talking about the basement again. A hoarder's basement.
Of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Yes, sir.
There you go. All right, here you go. 7 minutes and 4 seconds of conspiracy caught on surveillance video. Real Robert says this is the 2022 Arizona election, November 8 of 22. The state capital of election fraud, Maricopa County. Here are Katie Hobbs and her co-conspirator, Adrian Fontes, dumping stacks of ballots into the drop box leading up to the election, including after the 7 p.m. deadline on November 8th. Seven minutes of it. It's got music. Anyway, look at that stack. Why would anyone allow drive-up voting? Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your fucking mind? Whether this video shows what they're alleging it does or not, are you out of your mind that you don't check in and you don't hand this to somebody in person, and you don't confirm that it's one vote for one person? Are you out of your mind? They claim 4.8 million mule votes were cast in this fashion during 2020. In other words, Katie Hobbs facilitated the overthrow of the U.S. government in 20, along with her co-conspirator Adrian Fontes, overthrew the state government of Arizona in 22. Watch at the end of the video as Katie Hobbs flips off the American people. What? Is that Katie Hobbs? That's not Katie Hobbs. I don't know. So Kosher shares this from BG on the scene. Random woman in New York is trying to get to work. So there's pro-Palestine terrorists spitting on her car.
You dumb bitch! Fuck you! Fuck you!
You scared now?
fucking dumb bitch.
Stupid.
Fuck you.
Stupid.
Fuck you.
Stupid. Yeah. Triangle Hamas. I
You
love
fucking
Hamas.
dumb bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You stupid hoe.
Stupid. Open your window, dummy. Open your window. Now you.
What is this filth? What the fuck is this stuff? And why aren't these people being arrested?
Bro, if you're here for them, stay with them. If you're here for the protest, go to the protest.
Yeah, that guy right there. Why are you not arresting these idiots?
Fuck you. Fuck you.
You scared now?
Bro, we're not here.
That's vile. Screw these people. These terrorists in the street bothering American citizens. I can't stand it. 5 or 6 of them spit their filth all over this lady's vehicle. For what? What was her crime? Driving in the fucking road? That's what the roads are for, you pricks. Out of the fucking road. And that pussy cop that wouldn't arrest them, arrest them. Get them out of the fucking street so they stop terrorizing the residents of the city. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you know, cities don't need help. Cities don't need help to get rid of this domestic terrorism. Okay. Okay, cool story. Oh, that pisses me off. What if that was your sister? What if that was your mom? What if that was your girlfriend? What if that was your wife? How would you feel? A group of pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine assholes cussing and swearing and threatening and spitting their filth all over that vehicle. Who's in the road, they have every right to be. In that car, in that road. These idiots, these terrorists have no damn business being in the road assaulting this lady. Yeah, you spit on her car, you're assaulting her. God, that pisses me off. Sherry puts this video out from Congressman Michael Cloud saying 1 trillion American taxpayer dollars were stolen during the pandemic, and 70% of that money went overseas. Bill Mitchell says word is Zelensky is planning on blowing up the peace deal, refusing to cede any territory to Russia in exchange for peace. Fine, Zelensky. You want Donbass? You take it back. That's right, you can't. You're bargaining with chips you don't have. Fine. Trump should say, okay, we're out. No more weapons, no more money for Ukraine. Europe, you want to fight this forever war? Go ahead. We're done. I don't know. What would you do if you were trying to negotiate a stand down to this war? Sorry, did I get too pissed off at that video of those Hamas Palestine assholes spitting their mouth virus all over this lady's car? This woman that could have been anybody important to any of us, terrorized, being cussed at, threatened. And yeah, you spit on someone's car, you're assaulting them. Just that really bothered me. Joe Hoft, working with Gateway Pundit. I interviewed Jim Hoft, his brother, in Milwaukee at the RNC last year. Declassified FBI files expose 19 hidden Clinton Foundation bank accounts. Where did the money go? That's a joehoft.com article. Sean Chowdhury says Blackstone didn't buy 274,000 homes to be landlords. They spent $1 trillion turning home ownership into subscription housing. They're creating a generation that will own nothing and rent everything. While families dream of white picket fences, Wall Street dreams of permanent tenants. Gross. Stop that. Royce White reminds us here, when the black mayor of D.C. went to Capitol Hill and asked for the National Guard because crime was so bad. This is in 2022. Don't let them gaslight you. And Royce White reminds us he's running for Senate in Minnesota of 2026.
Mayor Muriel Bowser announced her Safer, Stronger anti-crime legislation. So this morning, she went to Capitol Hill to testify before the House Oversight Committee about crime in the district and ways to reduce it.
Access to firearms is a national problem, and we need common sense gun reform. We also need this Congress to give the mayor control of the D.C. National Guard. We welcome your partnerships or non-public safety initiatives as well.
Mayor Muriel Bowser announced her Safer,
Stronger. Well, unless I got that out of context. On Alex, they're talking about fenbendazole and ivermectin and mebendazole. What do you know about that? Anyone? Bueller? Amuse reports Beto and his NGO and Act Blue are finally obeying the restraining order prohibiting them from raising money for the rogue Democrats who are blocking flood relief and redistricting legislation in the Texas House. Beto will answer to the judge at his August 26 contempt hearing, where he could be sentenced to 180 days. Beto earned it. Volkswagen is hiding horsepower behind a paid subscription. Mike Adams says, F Volkswagen. They want you to pay a monthly fee to unlock the power of the engine you already paid for. Now, when you buy vehicles or probably even more home appliances soon, they'll only operate in crippled mode or eco mode until you pay a monthly service fee, at which point the full potential of the hardware you already paid for is finally unlocked. This is insane. Do not buy any vehicle that is deliberately crippled in an effort to make you pay a monthly subscription fee just to use it. And what happens to the Volkswagen when the Volkswagen servers get hacked and everybody's car is turned into crippled mode? If your car needs permission to use the engine, you bought the wrong car. Take it back, demand your money back, and go buy something else. Holy shit, I agree. If that's reality, if that's what's happening, good grief. Luke points out how in 2020, you had this number of R's that were recorded, violence against women. Looks like that went up 8 times. Looks like this one went, I don't want to do all the math, 8 grand to 39 grand, 7,500 to 42,000. Poland actually went down. Gee, it makes you wonder what's so different about Poland regarding abuse against women crimes compared to the other 3 countries where the numbers have skyrocketed. What changed? Oh, forced colonization through the Obama doctrine to flood these sovereign nations with non-citizens. Jasmine Crockett is expected to lose her House seat due to Texas's redistricting. What advice would you give her? James Wood says, learn to code. Learn to code. Remember when they told you that? Learn to code. Wall Street Ape says an American trucker is exposing a Mexico scam that allows Mexicans to stay illegally in America and take American truck jobs. Mexican tags in America. Here's a Mexican national supposed to come to America with a load from Mexico, drop it and leave right back. They don't. They stay over here 6 months at a time. A lot of them just live here in America, illegally committing what is called cabotage. Go Google cabotage and see what I mean, what these companies are doing to the trucking industry, putting thousands of my friends out of business. We can't compete because these people make very low wages. Look at this blue tag. See the blue tag on the bottom? That tag's for Americans to be able to go to Mexico, and we don't because we don't want to get killed down there or kidnapped. So what happens is Mexicans, illegal nationals, come to America, use that tag here because the highway patrols don't know about these tags. What the meaning of it is, look, another Mexican tag on this truck, another one too. The lot is full of Mexican trucks. Now multiply this nationwide. This is where American jobs have gone. That's crazy. These are asylum seeker accommodation protests on GBN News. BBC, so is this UK? But the tide has turned. Families are outnumbering the far left by a huge margin, protesting against illegal migrant hotels. John Jackson says we aren't the world's soup kitchen or the world's homeless shelter or hospital or higher education. We're $37 trillion in debt and infested with 50 million leeches from the third world. The books on all immigration should be closed. Do you agree or disagree with John Jackson? UK government would hear something like that, and they tried to sue 4chan for breaching their Online Safety Act. 4chan replied and said, essentially, we're American. You have no control over us. Go fuck yourselves. Keir Starmer's pathetic, and I think he has to hold a recall election now. Something like that. I saw that story too. Did you hear this one? The media says this Tennessee man arred an unconscious woman on the steps of a Christian church shortly before she died on Thursday. He was stopped by Nashville Fire Department crew, but it was too late for the 34-year-old woman. Police will not release the Islamic man's country of origin or his immigration status, but his name is Mohammed, who arred an unconscious woman to death on a Christian church step. Are you following this story? Are you? Why? All right. Did you see the Florida Turnpike crash in St. Lucie County? Commercial semi-truck and trailer. They operated the commercial semi-truck recklessly without regard for the safety of others, attempting to execute a U-turn, utilizing an unauthorized location. As a result of this, 3 occupants of a minivan are now deceased. State troopers got an arrest warrant for the driver, Harjinder Singh, for 3 counts of vehicular homicide. During the course of the criminal investigation and assistance of ICE, state troopers determined that Harjinder Singh entered the U.S. illegally, having crossed the Mexico border in 2018, then obtaining a commercial driver's license in the state of California. Why is California giving out a commercial driver's license, a CDL, to an illegal alien, illegally in the country? California gave them a license, and they did this. Actions taken by defendant while operating commercial tractor trailer are shocking and criminal. 3 people lost their lives as a result of this recklessness. Countless friends and family members experienced the pain of the loss forever. Harjinder Singh is in custody on state vehicular homicide charges and immigration violations. He will no longer be able to damage and destroy the lives of Floridians and visitors. At the conclusion of state charges, he'll be deported. Florida Highway Patrol remains committed to... Did you see that video? It's so awful. Mila Joy says Missouri is going to be holding a special session to pass a Republican congressional map. Take that, Gavin Newsom. Look at that. 2 little dopey cities that have everything backward and the rest of the nation who's sane. The rest of the state that has it. Oh, but hold on. Context. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe has not confirmed that he will be calling a special session. At this point, it's just speculation, not a fact, as the Post conveys. That's good info. Thank you, Grok. Appreciate that. Let's rate that. Yes. Easy to understand. Addresses the Post claim. Submit. Love that. All right. I could probably do a couple hundred more stories, but that's all I had necessarily prepared for you today. Any update on peace? Any update on the negotiation? What's trending? All right. Oh, I got some update on that shooting. Remember where they went in the vape shop? 4 attempted robbers in the Norco incident fled after one was shot in the arm, arrested at a hospital during treatment, all charged with attempted robbery, conspiracy, elder abuse, and firearm offenses. Rashid Belvin got a 10-year prison sentence in 23. Others faced similar prosecutions. That's good context, Grok, if accurate. Thank you for that. All right. That's what I wanted to share with you today. Maybe we'll have an update on peace tomorrow. Or is it just likely Zelensky's going to hold out and nothing's going to change? I don't know. We'll tune in again tomorrow to find out. Thank you, everybody in chat. Hit like, hit subscribe, however you're watching. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen is the tip jar for the places you can support the New American Media. Patreon, sign up for a month. It's like $5 a creation. I think it's the lowest tier. We usually put like 2 videos up a month, so it's like 10 a month. Or you could do 15 or 100 or 1,000 a month. A couple of you guys would make a huge difference. The amount of expenses are just shocking. I said a couple days ago, just got a random $180 charge. Perfect. Another $20 a month charge from Apple to make sure that this laptop has continued coverage. You know, it's just great. Here's another $200. So everything you guys send over goes right to pay off the bills for all of the overhead that it costs to run this program. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, everybody who has contributed and everybody who will. But we're on Patreon at the New American Media. Tip jar, Venmo, and Cash App is Brian Engelman at Brian Engelman. In PayPal, scroll it at the bottom of the screen, is fuzzinstallment at yahoo.com. Follow us in all the places. I don't need to tell you about it again. You know where to find us. Maybe in a little bit, we might do a football show with Israel Robinson. Got to find out a good time for that. So stay tuned. We might cover some football in a little bit. But for now, we're going to break. And until next we speak, I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.